Chapter 88. The next morning, Guagua saw the 2 fallen trees outside the medicinal cuisine house. She couldn't help but cry out in alarm, scaring Su Yun, who hadn't slept for the entire night. Su Yun ran out and found that nothing was wrong. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. "Mom, was there a strong wind last night?" Guagua asked with a puzzled face. Ruan Qingxuang was also surprised. She shook her head. She didn't hear the wind last night. It can't be that Baldy Chong came here to cut the trees, right? Guagua couldn't believe her eyes. Mom, did Guagua dream again? Ruan Qingxuang vaguely heard some noises last night, but she didn't care at all. Because the medicinal cuisine house was too busy during the day, Ruan Qingxuang fell asleep very quickly at night. She also slept very deeply. Guagua slept a little late last night, so she was very sleepy. That was why she didn't wake up when there was such a loud noise outside. Su Yun really admired Guagua's imagination. There was no wind, and it wasn't as strong as Baldy Chong. Then I'll call the relevant department. Ruan Qingxuang smiled. Cho Yun hasn't woken up yet? Guagua should go to class. Su Yun was startled. He looked at Cho Yun's room. Cho Yun came out of her room almost at the same time. Her face was much better than last night. It seemed that the 10,000 poison ointment was very effective in cooperating with Su Yun's true qi to force the poison out. Obviously, Cho Yun didn't know how to face Su Yun after what happened yesterday. She didn't expect to meet Su Yun's eyes as soon as she went out. She instantly felt embarrassed and didn't know what to do. After all, Su Yun directly tore her clothes yesterday and personally applied ointment for her. Some of the places where Cho Yun was scratched by the scorpion tail needle were girls' more private places. Of course, she felt embarrassed when Su Yun saw her naked. Even if Cho Yun was the ruthless and violent fox venerable, she was still a girl. Qin Wan yawned and appeared behind Cho Yun. She didn't sleep well last night, so she complained, "I'm so tired. I didn't sleep well last night." Guagua stared at Cho Yun with her eyes wide open. Suddenly, she covered her mouth with her small hand and looked at Qin Wan in surprise. "Are you guys lesbians?" Cho Yun was so angry that she almost rolled her eyes. Su Yun burst out laughing. "You are the one who is a lesbian." Qin Wan directly went over and twisted Guagua's ear. "Little thing, if you dare to talk nonsense again, I will cut you." "I don't dare, Sister Wan. I was wrong." Guagua hurriedly begged for mercy. Ruan Qingxuang looked at Su Yun with a confused face. "What is a lesbian?" Su Yun's face darkened. "It should be the same principle as a good gay friend, right? Explain your sister. You have led Sister Qingxuang astray." Qin Wan turned around and angrily glared at Su Yun. She inadvertently looked at the clock on the wall and pinched Guagua's pink little face. "Little thing, wait until I come back from work. I will deal with you." Although Cho Yun had basically recovered, her body was still a little weak. Yesterday, she had already heard Qin Wan talk about how Red Scorpion was rescued. She was a little embarrassed. "Su Yun, help me send Guagua off today." "Okay." Su Yun readily agreed. He knew that Cho Yun must be clear about her own body's condition. Perhaps she still needed some time to recuperate. After all, she was injured by a first-class expert like Red Scorpion. If something happened on the road, it would be difficult to guarantee Guagua's safety. "Hey, Dad, this is a good chance for you to seduce Miss Su." Guagua's eyebrows raised meaningfully 3 times. Ruan Qingxuang glared at her and said, "Study well in school. Don't cause trouble for Miss Su." Guagua stuck out her tongue. "Why is Mom jealous? Let's just get married." Ruan Qingxuang was completely speechless. Go to school." Su Yun directly picked up Guagua and went downstairs. "It's a pity that Godfather's car is broken. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to squeeze in the bus." Guagua laughed dryly. She thought to herself, "Fortunately, that Citroën is broken. Sitting in that car would definitely be embarrassing. Hadong City's International Bilingual School was the most famous school in Zhongshan Province. Parents who sent their students there would at least drive a Camry. Who would drive an outdated Citroën? Ruan Qingxuang and Cho Yun stayed at the Medicinal Cuisine restaurant. Qin Wan went straight to the police station. Su Yun carried Guagua with one hand and directly boarded the bus. If one was unlucky, cold water would be stuck in one's teeth. This was Su Yun's first time sending Guagua to school. Not only was the bus hot and crowded, it even stopped halfway. The driver got off the bus to take a look and came back. "This bus can't get up. Let's all get off. I'll call the company to have the next bus pick us up. It'll be done in 10 minutes. Immediately, the bus full of passengers complained. "Damn, it can't be." Su Yun frowned. If they waited here for 10 minutes, Guagua would be late. Looking at the depressed people starting to get off the bus, Guagua blinked her big eyes. "Dad, let's get off too. Let's take a taxi?" "I'll listen to you." That was all Su Yun could do. He couldn't possibly run 100 meters with Guagua in his arms, right? The morning rush hour was full of commuters. Once the bus broke down, the people who wanted to take a taxi were crowded. As long as there was an empty bus parked on the side of the road, there would definitely be a swarm of people. Although Su Yun could squeeze out of the way every time with his excellent physical fitness, there would always be a poor girl who would say to him when he opened the door, "Handsome, can you help me? Let me call first. I have something urgent to do at the company." Although Su Yun was not a gentleman, he was embarrassed to snatch a bus from those white-collared girls who wore high heels and hip skirts. Anyway, he felt that he would definitely be able to get the next bus, so he let them go. But he let 4 or 5 girls go. Not to mention those hooligans who couldn't beat Su Yun every time. Even Guagua was speechless. "Dad, if you still have tender feelings for the fairer sex, I'm afraid I'll really be late." Guagua was hugged in Su Yun's arms. She shrugged helplessly and spread out her small hands. Su Yun grinned. "Hey, the next bus will definitely be ours. In the end, handsome, if I'm late, the company will fire me. Damn, why didn't such a beautiful girl tell me earlier? Forget it, I'll be a good person until the end." Su Yun's position collapsed once again. Guagua's face was full of black lines. It looked like she still couldn't let her dad send her off in the future. If Sister Cho Yun came, she wouldn't even need to stop a bus. Those hooligans would definitely rush to stop them and say to them, "Beauty, why don't you go first?" Just as Guagua was mentally preparing herself for being late, a red Golf beautifully stopped in front of the two. Su Yun frowned. Could it be that Scarlet Scorpion's gang wanted to kidnap them? The car window rolled down. A graceful and beautiful face wearing large aviator sunglasses smiled faintly, revealing a row of clean white teeth. "How come it's you guys? Miss Su?" Guagua was immediately overjoyed. "The bus broke down just now. The taxi my dad stopped was given to other beautiful sisters. Miss Su, can we get in the car?" Su Xiaoran waved her slender white hand. "AI, this time we won't be late." Guagua finally let out a sigh of relief. Su Yun wasn't polite. He directly opened the back door and stuffed Guagua in. Then he also sat in. "Miss Su, I've really troubled you." Su Xiaoran faintly smiled. "Don't be polite with me. It's just a small matter." Actually, Su Xiaoran had a good impression of Su Yun. This was because she had heard about the matters of Ruan Qingxuang and Guagua from Qin Wan. Su Yun was a young man with a rather handsome appearance. To be able to lend a helping hand when they were in trouble was not a virtue that anyone could possess. Even though Guagua later said that her father must have coveted her mother's beauty, Su Xiaoran still felt that a person who could offend the infamous Four-Wolf Gang for a stranger was an extremely courageous act. A man's courage was a huge weapon that attracted women. Of course, this kind of courage wasn't the so-called bad temper. It was the domineering attitude of not having any misgivings about offending evil forces. Su Xiaoran drove the car and left. The hooligans who had been fighting over the taxi with Su Yun on the side of the road felt a wave of envy, jealousy, and hatred in their hearts. Guagua snickered in the car. Being personally taken to school by the teacher was quite a face. It would be best if she could meet her classmates when she got off the car. However, Guagua's complacency didn't last long. Because of Su Xiaoran's sudden break, Guagua slammed on the front seat. I'm sorry. I just got my driver's license not long ago. The license plate of the car was just put on yesterday. Today is my first time on the road. Su Xiaoran said with a guilty face. Just now, the car in front of them had braked because of the red light. Su Xiaoran's mind was a little distracted because of Su Yun, so she slammed on the brakes so hard. Guagua's back was covered in cold sweat. No wonder she hadn't seen Su Xiaoran drive to school before. Miss Su, are you a road killer? Su Xiaoran smiled embarrassedly. Hee, I'll drive slowly. It should be fine. Guagua rolled her eyes. It was over. She would definitely be late. Dad, can you go to the front passenger seat? Okay. Su Yun didn't hesitate. He didn't want to be late for the first time sending Guagua to school. He directly opened the door and got out of the car on the way. He quickly got into the front passenger seat and said to Su Xiaoran, "Don't worry. Drive boldly." Su Xiaoran didn't know why she suddenly felt a little embarrassed and nervous. Maybe it was because the man she had always been curious about was suddenly sitting too close to her. Su Yun tried his best to make his smile more masculine. Su Xiaoran was not as beautiful as Ruan Qingxuang. Her figure was not as domineering as Qin Wan. Her temperament was not as noble as Chou Yun. However, she was not weaker than the three of them in all aspects. Moreover, that kind of intimacy was really hard to resist. She was indeed a primary school teacher. The two of them looked at each other, and no one was the first to withdraw their gaze. Cough. Guagua finally coughed. These two people really didn't put her in their eyes at all. Miss Su, the light is green. Only then did Su Xiaoran suddenly come back to her senses, and her face unknowingly turned red. Guagua reminded Su Yun again. Dad, I asked you to go to the front to ensure my safety. Don't just look at Miss Su. Chapter 89. Su Xiaoran had always felt that she had practiced well in the driving school and was confident enough to drive on the road. However, now that there was someone sitting next to her, she felt uncomfortable. The car was so easy to drive that she had to step on the accelerator and brake. The car was shaking like a pig that saw a tender cabbage. Guagua really collapsed. Dad, why don't you sit back? You don't believe in Dad's level? Su Yun frowned. Okay, then I will show you. Guagua looked at Su Yun with excitement. She said with an expression of watching a good show, "What can you do in the front passenger seat?" How could Su Xiaoran not be curious? Miss Su, sorry to offend you. Su Yun smiled slightly and said softly, "Let's go." Suddenly, Su Yun's left hand pressed on Su Xiaoran's knee. Su Xiaoran was unprepared and stepped on the accelerator. The engine hummed and directly hit the car in front. Su Xiaoran was so scared that her face turned pale. However, Su Yun's right hand quickly pulled the steering wheel. The car passed by the car in front without any accident. After that, Su Yun didn't have the intention to let Su Xiaoran step on the brakes. He calculated the distance and the time of the traffic lights. He only controlled Su Xiaoran's right leg to step on the accelerator. He controlled the steering wheel with one hand and crossed the road with ease. Although this driving was indeed a bit overbearing and not particular, Su Yun definitely didn't go over the yellow line. The only violation was that he overtook on the right side. However, this probably wasn't a violation now. There were too many road bullies in the overtaking lane. It was normal for experienced drivers to overtake on the right side. Soon, Su Xiaoran mechanically drove the car into the school under Su Yun's control. She didn't even step on the brakes on the road. Su Yun's driving skills were simply godly. Su Xiaoran, a novice driver, was completely in awe of him. There's still 1 minute left. I can't delay any longer. Goodbye, Dad. Goodbye, Miss Su. Guagua opened the door and got out of the car. She carried her school bag and instantly ran away. Su Yun smiled and said, Miss Su, thank you so much for today. Otherwise, Guagua would definitely be late. Su Xiaoran hurriedly shook her head and said, I should be the one thanking you. If I hadn't met you, I'm afraid I would have been late. Then I won't disturb you any longer. You should also prepare for class, Su Yun said as he opened the door and prepared to leave. Su Xiaoran also got out of the car, but she said to Su Yun, that, I don't have class today. Every week, the school will arrange for a class to have a foreign teacher for one day so that the children can receive a Western education. Today, it's Guagua's and my turn, so I don't have anything to do today. Su Yun smiled and said, You still have to work. Miss Su, I'll go first. See you later. Wait a minute. Su Xiaoran shouted again. Su Yun was slightly stunned. Is there anything I can help you with? Su Xiaoran's face was a little embarrassed. I really have something to ask you. I want to learn how to drive from you. Can you teach me? Su Yun stroked the stubble on his chin. Driving skills were something that could only be achieved through practice. It was difficult to explain in theory. Su Xiaoran saw that Su Yun didn't answer, so she said, There's air conditioning in the office. Today, several teachers have classes, so there's no one in the office. Okay then. Su Yun saw that Su Xiaoran was so sincere. Moreover, he didn't have anything to do, so he agreed. Because he definitely wouldn't return to the medicinal cuisine house. Chou Yan's purpose in having him deliver Guagua was to have him protect her the entire time. After all, it was still a mystery who had rescued Scarlet Scorpion, and Guagua's side was still surrounded by danger. Hearing Su Yun agree, Su Xiaoran felt a burst of joy in her heart. She didn't know why, but she was very happy. Su Xiaoran parked the car, and the two walked towards the school building. Suddenly, a few boys and girls who looked to be 16 or 17 years old passed by them. The girls were dressed in mature and sexy clothes, and the boys were dressed in fashionable clothes. Why are there such old students? Su Yun was a little surprised. Su Xiaoran explained, the bilingual international school is divided into two districts. The East District is our primary school district, and the West District is the middle school district. According to the rules, the middle school students have to go through the West Gate, but there are always some disobedient middle school students who go through the East Gate. Su Yun suddenly understood. No wonder the bilingual international school was so famous. It was a school that could solve all the problems from grade 1 to grade 9, plus the 3 years of high school. This completely solved the problems of the children's middle school exams. No wonder so many parents threw their children here. Soon, Su Yun followed Su Xiaoran to her office. The office was decorated in a very modern style. The glass and angular partitions made the whole place look very tasteful. Not bad. Su Yun grinned. This environment was really good. If he could come here and be a teacher, wouldn't it be great? Su Xiaoran first asked Su Yun to sit down, then poured 2 glasses of water and brought it over. Su Yun, I just want to know how you achieved the feeling of being one with the car. On the road, I completely felt that the car would do whatever you wanted it to do. It's just amazing. Su Yun drank a mouthful of water. Anyone can drive, but it's not that easy to completely control a car. If you can't completely control it, then it's a dangerous killer that can appear at any time. If you can control it obediently, then it's a powerful helper. Su Xiaoran smiled awkwardly. Then I'm also considered a road killer now, right? A typical road killer. Su Yun smiled. Now, many people are road killers. The driving school's instruction is mechanical. They can teach someone who can drive, but it's impossible to teach someone who can completely control a car. Su Xiaoran was very expectant. Then how can I become someone who can control a car? Like Fan Xian in the Fast and Furious movie? Like Diesel? Su Yun shrugged. Movie stunts are not something that ordinary people can learn. I can only tell you some small tricks so that you can be prepared to go on the road alone in the future. Su Xiaoran nodded vigorously. In her eyes, Su Yun was the model of Hua Xia. Diesel. She hurriedly took out her notebook and pen to take notes. Okay, okay, okay. Since he had nothing to do, Su Yun played the role of a car coach. First, I'll talk about the relationship between the size of the car in the rearview mirror and the distance between the car and the car. What you need to remember is that the car's shadow occupies the entire rearview mirror, and the distance between the car and the car is about 3 meters. Then, how to judge the distance between the car in front and the car in a traffic jam. When you see the top of the bumper of the car in front, the distance between the car and the car is about 1 meter. Su Yun spoke seriously, and Su Xiaoran also took notes seriously. Although what Su Yun said could not make her a racer who could become one with the car, it could let her know how to deal with the situation on the road. If she wanted to become one with the car, she had to practice it personally and drive more. Suddenly, the office door was pushed open, and a man who was more than 1.85 meters tall walked in. The man's face was cold and handsome, with thick eyebrows and a high nose. He was wearing a slim-fit Calvin Klein, and the Prada leather shoes on his feet were polished to a shine. He was obviously a tall, rich, and handsome man who exuded a noble aura everywhere. Lu Tianyi? When Su Xiaoran saw this person, her eyebrows clearly frowned, but it was only a very weak frown. A tall, rich, and handsome man was indeed a tall, rich, and handsome man. He smiled politely. Xiaoran, don't you have class today? Teacher Lu, you should just call me Miss Su. Su Xiaoran was clearly not used to this person calling her so intimately. Lu Tianyi frowned. He had been chasing Su Xiaoran for more than a day or two, but Su Xiaoran had always been indifferent to him. Today, when he found out that Su Xiaoran didn't have class, and coincidentally, he also didn't have class, so not long after the bell rang, he excitedly rushed to Su Xiaoran's office. But what made Lu Tianyi unhappy was that when he walked to the door, he heard a man's voice. Moreover, he felt that the man was especially pretentious, actually talking about driving skills. He thought to himself, "Pay. Lousy has a Ferrari. No matter how F*king skillful you are, you'll still be left a few streets behind." Although Lu Tianyi really wanted to go in and drag that man out to give him a beating, he suppressed it in order to maintain a good impression in front of Su Xiaoran. After adjusting his breathing, he pushed the door open and walked in. Lu Tianyi was even more surprised when he walked in. The person sitting beside Su Xiaoran was actually a guy wearing underwear, a singlet, and flip-flops. Even if this guy could afford a car was a problem, how could he still have the face to talk to Su Xiaoran about being one with the car? Even so, Lu Tianyi still tried his best to control his disdain, and greeted Su Xiaoran elegantly. However, Su Xiaoran's indifferent response made him feel very hurt. "Xiaoran, if you want to learn how to drive, I'll give you the car, you can use it to practice." Lu Tianyi generously took out a Grand Cherokee key from his pocket. Su Yun glanced at it. F*ck, he really was rich. The cheapest car cost 600,000 to 700,000. Su Xiaoran was still indifferent to Lu Tianyi. "Teacher Lu, thank you for your kindness. I've already bought my own car, I'll use my own to practice." Lu Tianyi was stunned, and then came to a realization. "Xiaoran, that red Golf isn't yours, right?" "Yes." Su Xiaoran was still expressionless. She emphasized again, "You should just call me Miss Su." Lu Tianyi didn't take in the meaning at all. "Xiaoran, we're really too fated." "Hee, I parked my car beside you just now." Su Xiaoran smiled politely. What kind of fate was this? "Xiaoran, if you want to learn how to drive, I'll teach you. This thing needs to be put into practice. Everyone can talk about these theories, there's no point in talking about it too much." Lu Tianyi's words were obviously for Su Yun to hear. He paused for a moment before continuing, "Besides, that car doesn't suit someone of your status. If you like it, I'll give you an Audi tomorrow. A BMW is fine too." Su Xiaoran finally couldn't take it anymore. "Teacher Lu, thank you for your kindness, but I can't accept it without doing anything. Also, I still hope that you can respect my opinion. Please call me Miss Su, don't call me Xiaoran anymore." Lu Tianyi was rejected, and his face was dejected. "Xiaoran." Chapter 90. Lu Tianyi was already pissed off that this guy in singlet, underpants, and flip-flops was sitting beside Su Xiaoran, and now this guy was mocking him? What a joke. Lu Qianni looked at Su Yun from head to toe. He swore that even one of his shoelaces was worth God knows how many times more than his entire body. What right did he have to sit beside Su Xiaoran? Lu Qianni didn't have any elegant smile on his face toward Su Yun. Who are you? Who are you to interrupt when I'm talking to Xiaoran? Su Xiaoran's face changed slightly. Lu Qianni was the one with the most background among the young teachers, and according to rumors, his family wasn't just a little bit rich. He only had 3 or 4 cars, and even the cheapest ones were worth 500,000 or 600,000. As a result, Lu Qianni was relatively fearless among the school's teachers, and most of them looked up to him because of his background. That was why he gave off the feeling of being high above everyone else. Su Xiaoran was definitely the school beauty of Hadong International Bilingual School, and one of the most beautiful teachers in the city. Lu Qianni naturally felt that they were a match made in heaven, and so he never stopped pursuing Su Xiaoran. However, Su Xiaoran's response was more obvious. She didn't like the type of rich and handsome men like Lu Qianni. She wasn't the kind of girl who fantasized about marrying into a rich family, nor was she the kind of girl who would give her body for luxuries. Su Yun didn't say anything after being choked by Lu Qianni. Sishuang had told Guagua not to cause trouble for Miss Su at school, and if he couldn't help but slap this pretentious bastard, then the one causing trouble for Miss Su wouldn't be the evildoer's daughter, but the evildoer's father. Lu Qianni saw that Su Yun didn't have any intention of retorting, and sneered coldly, thinking to himself, "You're just a fucking piece of trash, and you want to steal my woman? Why don't you take a piss and look in the mirror to see what you look like?" Lu Qianni, who had a sinister heart, was as gentle as a dying man on the surface. "Xiaoran, I just want to teach you how to drive as a friend and colleague. I really don't have any other intentions." Su Xiaoran was too lazy to insist that he call her Miss Su. "Teacher Lu, I thank you for your kind intentions. You also saw that I already have a coach. There's no need to trouble you." "Him?" Lu Qianni looked at Su Yun with disdain. "What kind of coach is he? What could he possibly say by moving his lips?" Looking at the top edge of the bumper behind the front car, the distance between the two cars is about 1 meter. "What's the use of these rigid things?" Su Xiaoran didn't agree with Lu Qianni. "It's fine as long as I think it's useful. This is the way I chose to study." After that, Su Xiaoran said to Su Yun, "Coach Su, you can continue. I will take notes carefully." Su Yun didn't care. "All right, then I'll continue." The left rearview mirror shows the rear of the car from the middle of the rear wheel cover. What are you talking about? Lu Qianni interrupted Su Yun directly and asked rudely, "Do you have a car?" Su Yun answered honestly, "No." Lu Qianni's face was full of disdain. "You don't even have a car. What right do you have to teach Xiao Ran how to drive? Have you driven a car before? Have you driven a Porsche? Have you driven a Mercedes-Benz? Have you driven a BMW? No." Su Yun shook his head. Lu Qianni really wondered how this guy could answer him so shamelessly. He continued to ask, "Then have you heard of Ferrari and Maserati? Have you seen a Bentley Mulsanne? Have you seen a Rolls-Royce Phantom?" "I've heard of it, but I've never seen it." Su Yun still answered honestly. Lu Qianni clicked his tongue. Of course, he knew that this kind of country bumpkin had never seen it. Lu Qianni said proudly, "Let me tell you, I've driven more cars than you can recognize. What right do you have to teach Xiao Ran how to drive? What kind of cars have you driven?" Su Yun rubbed his chin and pondered for a while before saying, "I've driven light tanks, armored infantry vehicles, amphibious transport vehicles, and infrared laser reconnaissance radar vehicles. Do those count?" Su Xiaoran stared at Su Yun with wide eyes. Was this guy joking? How could those be driven by normal people? Lu Qianni was stunned for a while before bursting into arrogant laughter. "Ha ha ha ha. Do you think we're idiots? Have you driven a tank? Ha ha ha. I've even driven a plane." "Oh. Planes count? Then I've driven Xiaolong light fighter jets, Apache assault helicopters, and AWACS." Su Yun counted with his fingers. It seemed like there were only those few types. He wasn't a pilot and didn't have that many chances to fly in the sky. Do you think I'm an idiot? Lu Qianni couldn't take it anymore. Who would believe these things you say? Su Yun shrugged. It's fine if you don't believe me. I didn't force you to believe me. You asked me yourself. Xiaoran, you believe this kind of person's words. Lu Qianni completely treated Su Yun as a crazy idiot. Normal people wouldn't brag like this. It was pure nonsense. Su Xiaoran's face was a little ugly. Her tone became serious. Teacher Lu, I'm free to do whatever I want. If you don't have anything else, I won't be seeing you off. Lu Qianni's eye muscles twitched. He was clearly angry at Su Xiaoran's choice. Don't tell me you still think this guy knows more about cars after I've said so much? I'm afraid he doesn't even know how to drive. Look at how he's dressed. He doesn't look like someone who can afford a car, does he? Su Xiaoran said sternly, don't jump to conclusions if you haven't seen it with your own eyes. Lu Qianni was shocked to see Su Xiaoran yelling at him like this. He glared fiercely at Su Yun. Brat, you better be careful. Same to you. Su Yun couldn't be bothered to think about this guy's threat. Compared to the threat of the person who saved Scarlet Scorpion, this tall, rich, and handsome teacher's threat was just fart. Lu Qianni snorted heavily and turned to leave. A 30-foot-long flame quickly rose to the top of his head. Su Xiaoran couldn't help but frown. She was more or less worried. After all, Lu Qianni was a guy with a strong background and a rich family. Su Yun didn't give him any face. She was a little worried that he would do something out of line to Su Yun. After Lu Qianni left, Su Xiaoran couldn't help but reveal a worried expression. Su Yun, I'm sorry. Teacher Lu is a proud and arrogant person. If he offended you in any way, I'll apologize on your behalf. Su Yun shook his head. You don't have to apologize on his behalf. I can see that you don't like him either. He probably pesters you a lot, right? Miss Su, if you need any help, you can tell me. I can't stand shameless men. Su Xiaoran smiled bitterly. It's not as serious as you make it out to be. But I really don't like that type of man. He relies too much on his family's connections. He's always arrogant and prideful, and this arrogance doesn't come from himself. That's why I don't like it. Then just tell him. Su Yun said. If you don't like him, then you don't like him. You can't force him. Su Xiaoran nodded. I did say that, but he still pesters you, right? I knew it would be like this. He looks like a dog, but I didn't expect him to be such a thick-skinned guy. Su Yun's evaluation was really straightforward. He didn't do anything. He just kept saying that we should start as friends. Sigh, but in front of others, he always calls me so intimately. People who don't know the situation all think that there's something going on between us. Su Xiaoran had a headache over this matter. Now, many teachers are saying that I've already hooked up with a rich family. I can't explain it. Su Yun nodded, showing that he understood. That guy's methods could be considered brilliant. He intended to create smoke so that many colleagues would think that there was something going on between the two of them. Then, after the rumors spread, Su Xiaoran would have to agree even if she didn't want to. Sooner or later, it would be a matter of pushing the boat along the current. The brilliance of this method was that it created feelings invisibly. Even if Su Xiaoran didn't have any feelings for him, others would think that she was putting on an act. If Su Xiaoran insisted on not being with him in the end, then no one would think that Su Xiaoran was so steadfast. They would think that she thought too highly of herself, and then Lu Qianni got sick of her and abandoned her. Do you want me to talk to him for you? Su Yun smiled. That kind of person relied on his good family background and was spoiled rotten since he was young. If you really beat him up, he would definitely change. Su Xiaoran hurriedly waved her hand. No need really. I can handle my own matters. All right then. Do you want to continue listening? Su Yun pointed at Su Xiaoran's notes. Su Xiaoran nodded vigorously. Of course. By the way, you said just now that you've driven a tank and a plane. Is that true or false? Soo-yoon narrowed his eyes and smiled. If she really wanted to get to the bottom of this, he wouldn't know how to explain. He shook his head directly. I'm not Shuck or Beta. How could I drive a plane or a tank? It's just nonsense. Su Xiaoran's expectant expression was clearly a little disappointed. She really did believe him just now. For some reason, she just felt that this man's words were very credible. She just suspected that he was one of the legendary all-rounders in Hua Xia's army. But then again, how could an all-rounder become a chef at such a young age? Su Xiaoran felt that her rich imagination was very laughable. The lecture continued. Soo-yoon described it vividly, and Su Xiaoran listened with great interest. Except for Guagua, who came here to cause trouble during the break, most of the time was quite harmonious. Finally, school was over. Guagua went straight to Su Xiaoran's office again, claiming that she was catching the adulterer. Su Xiaoran learned a lot of knowledge that the driving school didn't teach her in the morning, so she was very grateful. To express my gratitude, I'll treat you to lunch at noon. How about Guagua? Guagua's face was full of suspicion. Her eyes were rolling. She thought to herself, isn't this development too fast? Dad took down Miss Su in just one morning? Dad is indeed an expert at picking up girls. You drove us here in the morning. Guagua and I should be the ones thanking you. Soo-yoon smiled faintly and said, we should be the ones treating you. Guagua waved her hand like a little adult. Okay. You don't have to be so polite. Why don't we go directly to the medicinal cuisine house to eat? Miss Su, don't you want to try my dad's cooking? Su Xiaoran heard and couldn't help but nod. She looked at Soo-yoon embarrassedly. Can I? Let's go. Soo-yoon was, of course, willing. I'll drive. Hee, Guagua, Miss Su isn't the road killer from this morning. Your dad taught me a lot of things. Su Xiaoran said proudly. Guagua was confused. Could it be that Miss Su learned everything when Dad touched her thigh in the car this morning? Chapter 91. Let's go. Guagua didn't realize how damaging her words were. She swaggered away, unaware of how awkward it was for Soo-yoon and Su Xiaoran. Soo-yoon was wrongly accused. F***ck, I swear I only touched a knee that had no flesh at all. When the three of them arrived at the teacher's parking lot, Lu Tianyi had been waiting for a long time. He wanted to treat Su Xiaoran to a meal and have a good chat with Su Xiaoran. He didn't want to interact with that kind of shady person. What Lu Tianyi didn't expect was that the shady person had brought a primary school student with him, shamelessly following Su Xiaoran. From the looks of it, he wanted to leave with Su Xiaoran. Xiaoran, where are you going? Lu Tianyi frowned as soon as he opened his mouth, but he still insisted, I heard that the French food in that new Parisian-style restaurant is very authentic, so I booked a meal for two. I want to invite you along. Su Xiaoran didn't bother to emphasize that he should call her Miss Su. She pointed at Guagua, this is my student. I want to go with my student for a family visit. I'm sorry, but I can only decline your kindness. Lu Tianyi naturally wouldn't let it go. Xiaoran, I sincerely want to treat you to a meal. I'm inviting you as a friend. If you don't agree, wouldn't you be too disrespectful? Didn't you hear Miss Su say that she wants to visit my house? Guagua looked at Lu Tianyi seriously. Sorry, your invitation is a bit late. It was obvious that Guagua had already listed this tall, rich, and handsome teacher as her dad's rival in love. She would never allow anyone she didn't like to be around Miss Su. Guagua obviously didn't like this tall, rich, and handsome teacher, because he was full of vanity and hypocrisy. Lu Tianyi saw Su Xiaoran looking at him from the corner of his eyes, so he smiled. Little beauty, if you can convince Miss Su, then Teacher Lu will bring you and Miss Su together. French cuisine is delicious, and there are delicious desserts too. From Lu Tianyi's point of view, there was no way a child would be able to resist the temptation of delicious food. If she really went with them, he could just order a cake for her to eat on the side. But what kind of storms had Guagua not seen before? French cuisine? Oh, she had been to the Silver Tower at the Cape de la Seine in Paris. I'm not interested. I'm already tired of eating those things. Guagua waved her hand, not giving him any face. Su Xiaoran was secretly laughing, but on the surface, she still said to Guagua calmly, I didn't expect Guagua to be a little gourmet. Lu Tiany's brows were completely furrowed. Xiaoran, don't home visits always take place at night? Who would do a home visit at noon? Even if you're going to do a home visit, shouldn't you at least eat before going? Don't worry about it. Miss Su won't starve at my house. Guagua was getting impatient. This person was really annoying. Su Yun couldn't be bothered to listen anymore. He opened the door to the front passenger seat, wanting to get in. What are you doing? Who let you get in the car? Didn't you hear that we're going for a home visit? Why are you following us? Lu Tianyi vented all his anger on Su Yun. He was now completely treating Su Yun as a personal coach. Su Yun couldn't be bothered with him, and got in directly. Guagua shot a glance at this guy who was yelling at her dad, feeling very unhappy. Miss Su, why are we wasting time with him? I'm hungry. And get in the car. Su Xiaoran touched Guagua's face and turned to Lu Tianyi. I'm sorry, Mr. Lu. That's my student's parent. I'm going for a home visit. Goodbye. Lu Tianyi was stunned for a while before coming back to his senses. That guy was a student's parent. He was so young, and his daughter was already in elementary school? Bullshit. Who was he kidding? Damn it. A strong flame of jealousy rose in Lu Tianyi's heart. He pursued Su Xiaoran for so many days, but Su Xiaoran was neither cold nor warm to him. However, she didn't feel the same way towards that guy who was wearing clothes from a street stall. Lu Tianyi really wanted to ask Su Xiaoran if she was blind. Watching Su Xiaoran drive that newly bought red Golf out of the school, Lu Tianyi's anger surged. There was no way he was going to let this go. No one in Hadong City who dared to steal his woman was born yet. Lu Tianyi's father was Lu Shang, the true overlord of Hadong City's underground world. He had many experts around him, and those arrogant bosses of the 3rd District were nothing but farts in his father's eyes. If he wanted to teach someone a lesson, it would only take him a few words. Unsatisfied, Lu Tianyi gritted his teeth and drove straight to Hadong International Hotel. This was the property of his Lu family, and his dad had been staying there all this time. Compared to Su Yun's enjoyable morning, Qin Weiner was much busier. She had just arrived at the police station, and before she could sit down and rest, she received the news of Ma Pinghai's death. Everyone in the task force quickly rushed to the scene of the crime. No one thought that the murderer would dare to kill someone in a park less than 100 meters away from the police station. The murderer must be an extremely vicious person. Qin Weiner's mind buzzed, and she immediately remembered what Su Yun had told her. Red Scorpion only needed a few seconds to kill Ma Pinghai. If I'm not wrong, Ma Pinghai must have died near the police station. Could it be that it was just as Su Yun had guessed, that Ma Pinghai was killed by that guy? The victim's central nervous system was fractured due to a twisted cervical vertebra, causing the victim to be paralyzed and suffocated. This definitely wasn't the murderer's first time. The police doctor who arrived at the scene had a serious face, and finally spoke. A person's cervical vertebra is usually very strong. It's impossible for someone without training or strength to do this. The murderer is definitely not an ordinary person. Because the murder was so close to the police station, the impact of the incident was very bad. Chief Chen Wei also came to the scene personally. After listening to the analysis, Chen Wei's face was serious. He instantly thought of a person. Could it be that because he was in the police station, the murderer thought that he had betrayed him? That's why he was so vicious. The leader of the Red Scorpion Task Force, the captain of the criminal police team, couldn't help but ask, Chief Chen, you mean that the person who killed Ma Pinghai is… Yes, the biggest suspect now is Hao Kai. Chen Wei's eyebrows furrowed. What a tricky case. This was a huge challenge for him. After being a police officer for so many years, this was the first time he had encountered such a dangerous person. Even though Chen Wei had prepared for everything, He didn't expect the murderer to be so vicious that he wouldn't even let go of his own people. Qin Weiner's heart had been pent up. She really wanted to tell Chief Chen what had happened yesterday and ask him to give up on investigating. The police were no match for this person. To deal with this kind of criminal, special forces had to be arranged. However, Su Yun had said that he didn't want her to tell the police about this, and he wanted her to believe in him. Of course, Qin Weiner believed in Su Yun, because the villain had already been defeated by Su Yun. What worried Qin Weiner was that the murderer seemed to be in a gang. If there were 3 or 5 vicious people at the same time, even if all the police forces in Hadong City were mobilized, they wouldn't be able to deal with them. Could this be an S-level wanted criminal? This is simply a demon who kills without blinking an eye, a madman. Finally, someone in the task force couldn't stand the pressure and fear anymore. Chen Wei saw the panic on the faces of the people present, and he naturally understood why they had such a reaction. He wasn't a tyrannical and evil leader. If any of you are afraid now, you can leave. I promise that you won't be punished or demoted. After all, the enemy is not as scary as we thought. Every member of the Hao Kai task force could be in danger at any time. I hope you all understand this. After he said that, everyone present was silent. It was hard for them to accept such a terrifying reality. Qin Weiner understood the weight of Chen Wei's words better than anyone else present. She had seen how powerful and dangerous the enemy was with her own eyes. Even someone as strong as Cho Yun had almost died at the hands of that guy. After all, each of us has a family. We have our elderly parents who are waiting for us to show our filial piety, and some of our colleagues have their own children, Chen Wei continued. None of us are independent people. We don't live for ourselves in this society. So, I hope that you all can consider this carefully. If you are not prepared to sacrifice yourself at any time, I hope that you will take the initiative to leave because I don't want to see my subordinates' families be... Chen Wei choked on his sobs, and he couldn't continue. Chen Wei, are you okay? Qin Weiner asked nervously. Chen Wei shook his head. Finally, the first person who couldn't stand the pressure stood up. He didn't want this to happen either, but he had to be responsible for his daughter, who was less than a year old. Chen Wei, I'm sorry. My family can't leave me. I understand. Chen Wei nodded with a smile. As a young man who had been a father for less than a year, it was impossible to say that he wasn't afraid of death. He made this choice because he wanted to better take on another responsibility. Then, another person stood up. Chen Wei, I quit too. The enemy is too scary. I can't take it anymore. Chen Wei nodded with a smile. Haha, yes. I've been a police officer for so many years. I can't take it anymore. I understand. Soon, there were 4 or 5 people who chose to quit. Running away like this will only increase the arrogance of the criminals. Qin Weiner suddenly scolded. She really couldn't accept watching so many of her colleagues quit one by one. Everyone was silent. Chen Wei was still smiling calmly. Qin, you're not married yet, right? Do you have a boyfriend? Chen Wei, I won't quit. Qin Weiner didn't answer Chen Wei's question directly. She threw the answer in front of Chen Wei. I only know that I'm a police officer. My duty is to protect the safety of the people, not to run away from problems for my own safety. Chapter 92. It was a heavy and silent atmosphere. Qin Weiner did not expect Ma Pinghai's death to have such a big impact on the police station. Then again, the criminal really did not take the police seriously. Otherwise, he would not have done such a provocative thing. I hereby announce the disbandment of the task force. Chen Wei's words came too suddenly. Not only was Qin Weiner surprised, but everyone present looked at Director Chen blankly. Chen Wei was annoyed by his mistake. At the beginning, he had estimated the strength of the Hadong City Police. He had to admit that he had overestimated the strength of his own people and underestimated the S-level wanted criminal. If he had known earlier, he would have asked for help from the higher-ups and sent real masters to help. Qin Weiner was not satisfied. If it had been before, she would have questioned Director Chen's decision. But now, She could understand Director Chen's thoughts. Maybe Director Chan and Su Yun were right. With the current strength of the police, they were no match for the criminal at all. This case is out of our control. Chen Wei was decisive. To avoid unnecessary sacrifices, he directly ordered the disbandment of the task force. Little Qin, come with me to the office. Other staff members dealt with the aftermath of the crime scene. Chen Wei and Qin Weiner went back to the director's office. Chen Wei's face was solemn and uneasy. Little Qin, I know you well. You're not someone who gives up easily. Otherwise, you wouldn't have fought with those evil gangs in Hadong City. But this is different. I hope you can let it go. When you brought Ma Pinghai back, I was sure that you had someone helping you. I hope you can tell the person who helped you not to get involved in this case. Yes, I know. Qin Weiner nodded and looked serious. But Su Yun had already gotten involved. Now that the criminal had hurt him and Cho Yun, how could he let that guy go? Chen Wei saw Qin Weiner's expression and smiled faintly. Although I have disbanded the task force, it does not mean that I will give up and let the criminal get away with it. To deal with this kind of criminal, I will apply to the higher-ups to mobilize a special force. A special force? Qin Weiner suddenly opened her eyes in curiosity. Yes. Chen Wei smiled and said to Qin Wan, at your level, you still can't get in touch with some confidential things, but I believe in your professional ethics. I also believe that you are a well-educated police officer. Sooner or later, you will reach my position or even higher than mine, so there is no harm in telling you. Qin Wan was surprised. Is there a difference between the special forces and the special forces? Chen Wei nodded. That's the real elite of the elite. Even the best of the special forces might not be qualified to enter the real special forces. Qin Wan's mouth opened slightly, and she could not help but ask curiously, what kind of troop is that? Chen Wei shook his head. That's all I know. As for the details, it's not something a person of my level can know. Hee, little Qin, if you're curious, do your job well. I believe that one day you'll know more than me. Young man, your future is limitless. Chief Qin, can they really capture Scarlet Scorpion? Qin Wan was perturbed. She did not really believe in the so-called special forces. Hearing Qin Wan's words, Chen Wei's eyes suddenly flashed like lightning. His voice suddenly became serious. How do you know the name Scarlet Scorpion? From the beginning of the arrest warrant to all the meetings, the higher-ups and Chen Wei had never announced the name Scarlet Scorpion. This was because it was the name of the underground world. This person was different from Goshawk Gong Yu. He was a mysterious person. The name Scarlet Scorpion was only known by the higher-ups of the police. It had never been announced. If the name Scarlet Scorpion was announced, it might cause chaos in the underground world. Not everyone in the police world had access to the underground world. Chen Wei only came into contact with the underground world after he became the chief of the city bureau 5 years ago. In the Hadong City police world, only he knew the name Scarlet Scorpion. How did Qin Wan mention it? Qin Wan was stunned by Chen Wei's stare. Because Su Yun and Cho Yun both called Hao Kai that, she also unconsciously called out the name Scarlet Scorpion. Little Qin, did the chef in your medicinal cuisine restaurant tell you the name Scarlet Scorpion? Chen Wei could not help but ask. Qin Wan was stunned. Chief Chen, you arranged for people to investigate me? Chen Wei did not deny it. Yes, but I have no ill intentions. It was all a job requirement. I hope you can understand. Qin Wan smiled helplessly. No wonder Su Yun always said that he hated to cooperate with the police. It seemed that he already knew that the police had investigated her. This guy was really too much. He didn't even tell her. Little Qin, I hope you don't mind. Chen Wei continued. I want to tell you that the people who know the name Scarlet Scorpion are probably experts in the underground world. These kinds of people are very dangerous. I don't want you to get into trouble or have any accidents. Qin Wan faintly smiled. Chief Qin, I really did not expect you to investigate me. I do not want to accept this fact. But I still want to ask, what is the underground world you are talking about? I don't understand at all. Chen Wei frowned. With Qin Wan-er's identity, she should not have come into contact with this kind of thing. However, because there were indeed experts in the underground world around her, Chen Wei decided to explain. It is another layer of our society. The underground world has no laws, no discipline, and the weak are prey to the strong. It is a world of the strong. It is a world where experts are as common as clouds. Experts. Qin Wan-er frowned. Chief Chen, why do I not understand what you are saying more and more? What kind of people are experts? Chen Wei took a deep breath. Scarlet Scorpion is an expert. Those experts have all broken through the limits of the human body. They can break rocks and break trees. Their abilities are unimaginable for us ordinary people. Also, the goshawk you caught before was also an expert in the underground world. Qin Wan-er bitterly smiled. So, Chief Qin, you were absolutely sure that I could not catch goshawk at that time, right? Yes. Chen Wei nodded. If you said that you could overturn the Four Wolves gang and the Knife and Axe gang alone, I would think that you were really lucky. But if you said that you could catch an expert in the underground world, of course I knew that was a fantasy. Then why didn't you directly expose me? You even wanted to reward me? Qin Wan-er questioned. Chen Wei's answer was very calm. Because I knew that the person who helped you had no evil intentions. So, I hoped that he would continue to help you in secret. That way, he would be helping the police. At that time, I was not sure whether or not he was someone from the underground world. Because many people know the title of Goshawk. Maybe there were hidden experts among the people who could deal with him. Qin Wan-er gave a thumbs up. So, you never exposed me? Hee, then this time, why were you so sure that the person beside me was not an expert among the people, but an expert from the underground world? Because the title of Scarlet Scorpion is only known by people who know about the underground world. Chen Wei's answer was very straightforward. Qin Wan-er did not say anything else. Chen Wei looked at her for a long time. Little Qin, I don't want you to be in danger. Chief Chen, please do not worry. Everyone around me is kind. Qin Wan-er said very seriously. If you have the energy to investigate them, why don't you use that energy to deal with Scarlet Scorpion? Chen Wei was startled. After a long time, he said, I have no evil intentions. I just don't want you to be in danger. You are the future hope of the Hadong police force. Qin Wan-er bit her lower lip. Chief Chen, thank you. But I do not accept this kind of investigation with suspicion. Since the task force has been disbanded, I think I should return to my own post. I swear on my character that there is absolutely no such dangerous person around me. After saying that, Qin Wan-er walked out of the police station. Her heart was in a mess. Although she repeatedly emphasized that she did not agree with Chen Wei's words, she could not convince herself. Could it be that Su Yun was really someone from the underground world? Was he someone who came from a world where there was no law and the strong preyed on the weak? Qin Wan-er's heart was like a broken bottle. After she returned to the medicinal cuisine restaurant, she wanted to question Cho Yun. But when she saw Cho Yun's weak body, she did not ask. How come you have time to come back this afternoon? Ruan Qingxuang smiled. Are you on vacation? No, I'm just a bit tired. Qin Wan-er would not show her emotions in front of Ruan Qingxuang. She smiled. I'll change my clothes and come down to help. Ruan Qingxuang said with a pained heart. Wan-er, if you are tired, you can rest for a while. Cho Yun and I can handle it. Qin Wan-er shook her head. Let Cho Yun rest for a while. Ruan Qingxuang was also puzzled the whole morning. Yeah, Cho Yun, what happened to you? You look so weak. Cho Yun did not know how to explain. She just kept silent. She might have gotten food poisoning when she ate outside yesterday. Qin Wan-er helped her cover up. She wasn't feeling well last night. It's better for her to take care of herself today. Cho Yun looked at Qin Wan-er. She did not have a good impression of Qin Wan before, but now that feeling was fading. I'm fine. Qin Wan heard Cho Yun call her so intimately. She did not take care of her for nothing last night. You're really fine? If you don't feel well later, don't blame us for not reminding you to take care of your body. The poison in Cho Yun's body had already been removed by Su Yun. She was weak now because she had used up too much internal energy in the fight with Scarlet Scorpion yesterday. Suddenly, a red Golf stopped at the entrance. Guagua was the first to open the door and get out. She pulled Su Xiaoran and ran into the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She said to everyone, "Hee, we have guests today. Miss Su is here. Hee, please take a seat." Ruan Qingxuang was obviously very happy that Guagua's class teacher could come here as a guest. Qin Wan stared. "Xiaoran, why did you get kidnapped by Guagua?" http://author 17K Kombuklist book. Act R equals 0. 236356493472904222. Su Yun followed closely behind and pushed open the door. "Guagua invited Miss Su to try my cooking." Once she saw Su Yun, Qin Wan-er's thoughts disappeared. She immediately thought of Chief Chen's words. She went up and pulled Su Yun over. "Come with me and explain." Qin Wan-er's abnormal behavior made everyone confused. Chapter 93. Su Yun didn't understand what was going on when he was dragged upstairs by Qin Wan-er to her room. Qin Wan-er slammed the door shut and stared at Su Yun. Su Yun felt his crotch tighten. "What are you doing?" "I'm telling you, I'm a pure virgin. If you have any evil thoughts, I won't listen to you. There are so many people downstairs at noon. If you have any evil thoughts, just come and knock on my door at night." "Knock your sister." Qin Wan-er glared at Su Yun. "I don't have time to listen to your nonsense. Don't talk nonsense in front of me." "Then why are you looking for me? Why do you have to talk in private?" Su Yun rubbed his chin and didn't understand. "You don't need breast enlargement. Why are you looking for me?" Qin Wan-er gnashed her teeth. "I really want to send you back to ancient times to be a eunuch." Su Yun clamped his legs together. "Forget about that. Su Yun, I'm asking you. You better answer me honestly." Qin Wan-er used her body to block the door and said with a serious face, "I'm warning you. If you dare to lie, I won't let you go." Su Yun was completely confused by Qin Wan-er. What did she mean? "Are you someone from the underground world?" Qin Wan-er's eyes lit up when she asked. Su Yun was stunned. This girl even knew about the underground world. It looked like the higher-ups in the police station really valued her. But for her to suddenly ask like this, something must have happened in the police station, right? If he didn't guess wrong, Su Yun believed that his prophecy from yesterday had become a reality. Perhaps the people in the police station had already realized how dangerous Red Scorpion was. "Is Ma Pinghai dead?" Su Yun didn't directly answer Qin Wan-er's question and smiled faintly. Qin Wan-er nodded. "That's right. Ma Pinghai is dead. And now we have a preliminary conclusion that Ma Pinghai's death is related to the fugitive Red Scorpion." Preliminary conclusion? Su Yun smiled. "Didn't I say it yesterday? There's no need for a preliminary conclusion. You can directly confirm it now. Ma Pinghai was definitely killed by Scarlet Scorpion. I can guarantee that with my head." Qin Wan-er waved her hand and said, "That's not what I want to ask you. I don't care who killed Ma Pinghai. I just want to know if you are from the underground world." Su Yun frowned and said, "Where did you hear this from? What underground world? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you still going to pretend with me?" Qin Wan-er snorted and gave an example. "You're not from the underground world, so how do you know that the opponent is Red Scorpion? Even the police don't know his nickname. How did you know?" Su Yun shrugged. "What does that have to do with the underground world?" Qin Wan saw that Su Yun was being stubborn, so she said, "Okay, you can continue to act dumb, but don't think that I don't know anything." Qin Wan, where did you hear all this nonsense from? Su Yun was somewhat worried. Of course, the less one knew about this kind of thing, the better. However, Qin Wan knew more and more. She even dared to inquire about the underground world. Su Yun, I know that you don't want me to be in danger. Qin Wan was not ungrateful. Now that the task force investigating Hao Kai has been cancelled, I have nothing to do with this matter. You don't have to worry about me at all. I'll return to the station in the afternoon. I'm just curious. I want to know who you are. The task force was cancelled? Su Yun frowned. Perhaps this meant that the police were aware of the danger of the opponent. However, was this matter going to be left unsettled? Su Yun's heart was filled with doubt. Yesterday, Red Scorpion was rescued. Today, the police were going to leave the matter unsettled. Could it be that the water here was so deep? You don't have to get involved in this matter anymore. The leader said that he would let the higher-ups dispatch a special force to deal with it. Qin Wan finally admitted her worry. Su Yun, I don't care if you are from the underground world or not, but I don't want you to get into trouble. Su Yun furrowed his brows. Special forces? Qin Wan nodded. Although I don't know what special force it is, I can tell that the people mobilized this time are definitely not ordinary people. Maybe they are abnormal people like you. Su Yun's heart surged. It can't be, right? If they really let his former group of brothers deal with this matter, then it would be interesting. Qin Wan keenly caught the slight change on Su Yun's face. What's with your expression? Nothing. Su Yun was indeed a little emotional just now. Qin Wan sighed. Forget it. I know that whatever I say to you is useless. However, I want to tell you that since the higher-ups have arranged for experts to help, I advise you to withdraw from this matter. I don't want you to be targeted. Su Yun grinned foolishly. I have been targeted by the police for a long time. However, I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't have any weak points to catch. Qin Wan was so angry that her teeth itched. You idiot. Do you understand what I mean? I know. Don't worry. Su Yun's heart was like a mirror. The two of them had been upstairs for a few minutes. Guagua finally curiously climbed upstairs and knocked on the door. Sister Wan, what are you and Dad doing inside? Can Guagua go in? Qin Wan, didn't dare to say no. After all, she had already said everything to Su Yun. She hurriedly opened the door to avoid arousing suspicion. Guagua looked at the two of them up and down and shook her head in disappointment. There was no disheveled scene like she imagined. Dad, we have already invited Miss Su. Why don't you go and make some of your best dishes? I will go right away. You just wait and see. I will definitely take Miss Su's stomach. Su Yun took the opportunity to quickly run downstairs. Qin Wan almost forgot that Su Xiaoran was here. She hurriedly went downstairs to chat with Su Xiaoran. Lu Tianyi was in a bad mood because he didn't succeed in dating his goddess to eat French food. After arriving at Hadong International Hotel, he directly parked his car in the middle of the main entrance. Seeing that the son of the CEO was here, who dared to offend him? The lobby manager, who was taught a lesson by Su Yun, immediately bowed and greeted him. Young Master Lu, you are here. What do you want to eat? I will arrange it for you. Eat what? Where is my dad? Lu Tianyi glared angrily. In his eyes, these people were just his Lu family's dogs. That lobby manager hurriedly said, CEO Lu is resting in the private room on the top floor. I will go and inform him. Inform what? I am his son. Do I need to inform him? Lu Tianyi spat. No, of course not. The lobby manager hurriedly said. Hee, my brain is like a pig's brain. I don't understand at all. Damn it. Lu Tianyi didn't have the time to listen to his nonsense. He directly walked to the elevator and went straight to his private room on the 9th floor. The waiter in the front hall couldn't help but remind the lobby manager, "Manager, Boss Lou has instructed that no matter who is looking for him today, we have to inform him. If we let them in without informing him, then you—" "What will I do? Pack up and leave?" The lobby manager humphed. "Don't use your pig brain to think. Do you think I will pack up and leave? Did I let an outsider in? That is young Master Lou, the future successor of the Lou family. Don't you use your brain?" "Why yes, you are right, manager." The lobby manager shook his head in disdain. "I think someone like you is the one who will pack up and leave sooner or later." Lou Tianyi took the elevator to the top floor. He was already used to his dad not coming home all year round. His mom died early anyway, and he was happy that his dad didn't come home. It was more convenient for him to bring women home to flirt and have fun. The rooms on the top floor of the hotel were never open to outsiders. They were all for the Lou family. The suite on the far left was Lu Shang's private room. He knew that his good-for-nothing son had been obsessed with women ever since he came back to the country, often bringing women home. To avoid awkwardness, Lu Sheng decided not to go home and just stayed in the hotel. Today, he ordered everyone downstairs to inform him because he had an important guest. He never expected his son to show up at a time like this. Bang! Lu Tianyi didn't even knock before barging in. "Why are you here?" Lu Sheng was 55 years old. A unique aura of dignity and anger pressed down on his son. Although Lu Tianyi was already used to his dad's imposing manner, he was still a little timid. "You are my dad. Can't I come to see you?" "Humph!" Lu Sheng snorted. He didn't believe that this unfilial son of his would have such intentions. He knew what kind of person his son was. There were only two reasons why he would come to see him. One was that he needed money, and two was that he ran into something he couldn't handle. "This is your son?" "Like father, like son." Sitting across from Lu Shang was a man in his 30s with dark red hair and a beard. Lu Shang lamented inwardly, "I've made a fool of myself in front of you. My son is useless. He's already 30 years old, but he's accomplished nothing. All he can do is be a teacher in a school. Compared to you, he's a far cry." Lu Tianyi looked towards the source of the voice, wanting to see who this guy his dad was talking about was. He didn't know until he looked, but when he did, he was shocked. Lu Tianyi couldn't believe his eyes. Wasn't the man sitting across from his dad the S-rank wanted criminal with bounties all over the streets? How did his dad get involved with someone like this? This was the target center of the entire city's police force. Getting involved with this guy was just asking for trouble. Lu Sheng ignored his son's shock. Instead, he called the front desk downstairs. "I said to inform anyone who wants to see me. Why didn't anyone inform me of Lu Tianyi's arrival?" The lobby manager who picked up the call was dumbfounded. "Chairman Lu, young Master Lu isn't an outsider. I made it very clear. It's anyone." Lu Sheng's voice was slightly angry. "I don't like people who make decisions on their own. From now on, don't let me see you again. Go to the accounting office, settle the bill, and get out." Chapter 94. When Lu Sheng hung up the phone, Lu Tianyi almost screamed, "Dad! Why did you bring such a dangerous person here?" Red Scorpion smiled faintly, but didn't react. Lu Sheng never expected his disappointing son to make a name for himself in the underground world, so he didn't bother to explain. "Tianyi, let me tell you. Red Scorpion is a year older than you, but he's already a first-rate fighter in the underground world. What about you? You still can't even get a glimpse of him." "Humph, I really don't know where to put my old face." "Brother Lu, don't be angry. Not everyone has the physique to break through human limits," Red Scorpion said softly. Red Scorpion was very curious about Lu Sheng. Before he was saved yesterday, he didn't know that there was a true overlord of the underground world in Hadong City. Through their conversation, he understood that Lu Sheng didn't want to stay in Hadong City for the rest of his life. It was because his son didn't have the potential to become a fighter that he had no choice but to settle down in this small city. With Lu Shang's strength, there was no way he could establish himself in the big cities like Beijing, Shenzhen, Suwon, and so on. In terms of strength, Lu Shang was a second-rate fighter, but he had only broken through at the age of 50, so everything he had was already at the peak. He only had a few third-rate fighters under his command, and they were all placed in many places. He had always hoped that his son would one day suddenly understand, but his son didn't seem to have the slightest intention of doing so. Lu Shang had originally been prepared to give up on planning his and his son's path to the underground world, but something big happened in the F&B room yesterday. When he went to take a look, he saw that the 3 famous bosses of Hadong City had been defeated. At that time, he knew it was the work of a fighter. Right after he left the room, Red Scorpion appeared. Although Lu Shang wasn't a gifted person, his sixth sense told him that this person was very dangerous. That was why Lu Shang had been following Red Scorpion from afar. Although he wasn't as strong as Red Scorpion, with his many years of experience, he could still guarantee that he wouldn't be discovered. That was why he had seen Red Scorpion kill Ma Pinghai and lose to Su Yun. Lu Shang did not expect Red Scorpion and Fox Venerable to appear at the same time in Hadong City. He also did not expect a young man whom he could not recognize to be able to defeat Red Scorpion. But in the end, the old fox Lu Shang still chose to save Red Scorpion. He knew that this person was the hope of the Lu family. If he could get Red Scorpion's help, then he would be able to help his son gain a foothold in the underground world. Lu Shang had heard that after Feng Chen Sui received the help of the violent Fox Venerable, he was able to unify Su Hang. Therefore, he felt that if he could get the help of Red Scorpion, he would also be able to achieve great things. Before this, no one in Hadong City had dared to do anything to Lu Shang. Even the 3 tycoons of Hadong City were very polite to him. Although Lu Shang did not look like a notorious person like the 3 tycoons of Hadong City, no one in Hadong City dared to disrespect him, including Jin Biao and the others. If he were to obtain Red Scorpion's help now, he would be able to step out of Hadong City and directly reach out to Jibei City and Jinan City. It was also possible for him to slowly take over Zhongbei Province. Lu Shang felt as if his entire body was glowing with youth at the thought of being able to take a gamble while he was still alive. However, he had neglected a problem. Red Scorpion was definitely not a person who would repay kindness like the violent Fox Venerable. Of course, this was a story for later. Right now, Red Scorpion kept calling Lu Shang Brother Lu. He was quite grateful for Lu Shang's life-saving grace. After all, if Lu Shang had not risked his life to take him away yesterday, there was a 99% chance that he would have died under Cho Yun's sword. Brother Red Scorpion, I want my son to acknowledge you as his master. Seeing that his son had come, Lu Shang might as well go all the way and take Red Scorpion as one of his family. This would be helpful for his future plans. Lu Tianyi was stunned. Me? Dad, are you kidding me? I'm not cut out for that. Kneel. Lu Shang glared at his son. Serve me tea and acknowledge me as your master. How could Lu Tianyi accept a fellow of similar age as his master? Wouldn't that be slapping himself in the face? Moreover, he had long since given up on the idea of becoming an expert. Although he was very surprised that his father could cultivate stacking force at his age and unblock all the meridians in his body, he really did not have the talent. If I could become an expert, I would have done so long ago. Dad, I can't even break through the limits of the human body. How can I become an expert? Lu Tianyi did not want to agree. Red Scorpion smiled faintly. If you want to become an expert and break through the limits of the human body, the first stage is very easy. Easy for you to say. Lu Tianyi did not believe him. Red Scorpion smiled slightly. The first step to becoming an expert is to train your muscles, bones, and tendons. You need to master the techniques and use your palms to crush rocks and break wood. If you want to do it, I can help you. Lu Shang was overjoyed. He knew that if a first-rate expert was willing to help unblock meridians, it would not be difficult for a normal person to break through the limits of the human body and become a third-rate expert. His son's physique had always been good, so as long as Red Scorpion was willing to help, he would definitely become an expert one day. You can help me? Lu Tianyi was still at a loss. Of course, he did not dare to believe it. All right. If you can help me, I'll acknowledge you as my master. From now on, you'll be my second father. I'll listen to whatever you say. This was the effect Lu Shang wanted. Red Scorpion nodded and said faintly, All right. Wait for me to adjust my meridians and recover my inner strength tonight. Tomorrow, I'll help you unblock all your meridians. Tomorrow? SK. Lu Tianyi did not think much of it. If I can't help you become an expert tomorrow, you can take me to the police station to exchange for a reward. Red Scorpion said casually. Lu Shang suddenly stood up and struck the back of his son's leg. Lu Tianyi's legs fell to the ground. Of course he had to seize this opportunity. Lu Shang was a second-rate expert after all. He naturally understood the meaning behind Red Scorpion's words. He agreed to take in his son and help him unblock his meridians. Although Lu Tianyi was somewhat unwilling, he still chose to listen to his father's arrangements in the end. If this person could really help him become an expert, wouldn't that be a good thing? At the very least, if anyone dared to steal his woman in the future, he could easily crush them to death. Lu Tianyi's anger rose when he thought of the guy who was so close to Su Xiaoran today. If he became an expert, the first thing he would do was find that guy and let him know who he could not afford to offend. Tianyi pays his respects to master. Lu Tianyi clenched his teeth and made up his mind. He knelt down and offered a cup of tea with both hands. Master, please have some tea. Red Scorpion smiled slightly. Rise. Red Scorpion had agreed to help Lu Shang unblock his son's meridians. His life-saving grace could be considered repaid. Therefore, if Lu Shang wanted him to help him for the rest of his life, it was absolutely impossible. Red Scorpion could be considered extremely benevolent to be able to do this. He was not a philanthropist, so of course he would not be kind to everything. After all, helping a normal person unblock their meridians to become an expert would require a considerable amount of internal energy. Red Scorpion would not be able to recover from yesterday's injury in a short period of time, so he still needed Lu Shang to protect him for a period of time. This was also one of the reasons he agreed to help Lu Tianyi unblock his meridians. Using up a bit of internal energy in exchange for a period of peace was definitely worth it. Brother Red Scorpion, please take care of my son in the future. Lu Shang's calculations were appropriate, but he did not know that Red Scorpion was not someone like him could raise. Red Scorpion smiled lightly. He knew that Lu Shang was implying nothing more than that he felt that he had saved his life. However, this was not enough reason for him, Red Scorpion, to willingly submit to him. He was someone who was going to do great things with Green Ghost. Su Xiaoran was full of praise for the medicinal cuisine. She simply did not expect that a man could actually have such good culinary skills. Guagua, your teacher is so envious of you. You can eat such delicious food every day. Guagua shook her head helplessly. Yes, that's why I can't even lose weight. Sigh. I'll try to control myself in the future. If I'm really hungry, I'll eat papayas. I must endure and not be greedy. It'll be troublesome if I become a little fatty. Why eat papayas? Su Xiaoran was stunned. Did a child know so much? She had really underestimated Guagua. Guagua glared. Of course I have to eat papayas. I have to grab the body from a baby. What if I grow up to be an airport runway? My goal is to at least surpass Sister Wan. I really want to sew your mouth shut. Qin Wan was caught in the crossfire even though she was lying down. She really did not understand why she was involved. Guagua was really hateful. Xiaoran, you have to be strict with her in school. Su Xiaoran could not hold back and almost laughed to tears. How could she be strict with such a devilish little girl? Who could bear to? She's already excellent. I don't have to be strict with her. She's very self-aware. Guagua's expression was extremely arrogant. After eating, Su Xiaoran helped to clean up the medicinal cuisine for a while. After cleaning up the Ruan Qing, she was very embarrassed. However, Qin Wan was not polite. One moment she had someone wipe the table and the next she had someone clean the dishes. After working in the medicinal cuisine restaurant at noon, it was also time for Guagua to go to school. Coach Su, can you help me again during the practice on the road? Su Xiaoran took the initiative to invite him. Okay. Of course, Su Yun was willing to accompany her. Guagua secretly pulled Ruan Qing Shui aside and whispered, "Mom, it seems that Dad is very popular. You have to work hard. Now you have Sister Wan in front and Miss Su behind. After all, Dad is a man. It's hard to resist such a big temptation." Ruan Qing Shui rolled her eyes. She knew that this little girl had nothing good to say. Go to school. Don't make wild guesses every day. Children should not meddle in adult affairs. Oh, Mom, I'm doing it for your own good. Guagua pouted and said angrily, I don't care. Anyway, I don't want other fathers. Ruan Qing Shui smiled bitterly. She really did not know what to do with this little girl. Su Yun directly carried Guagua in a princess carry. Tell me what you want, but only after school in the afternoon. Let's go. The red Golf left with the three people. With Su Yun's guidance, Su Xiaoran was no longer nervous when driving. This feeling was very good. She secretly made a decision in her heart. In order to get rid of the title of road killer as soon as possible and become a driving expert, she was going to take a detour every morning to pick up Guagua to go to school. Of course, she would also take Coach Su along the way. Chapter 95. As the business of the medicinal cuisine house matured, Chong's second branch and the three tigers of the southern district's branches were gradually on the right track. Ruan Qingshuang's requirements for the chefs were getting higher and higher, so the chefs in the branches were getting better and better. Seeing Sister Shuang and Brother Yun busy themselves every day, the underlings didn't feel good, so they decided to recruit some people for the main branch of the medicinal cuisine house. After lunch, they all gathered at the medicinal cuisine house. Ruan Qingshuang suddenly realized why they were here. She had always wanted to recruit people, but later, with the help of Su Yun, Chou Yun, and Qin Wan as well as the new opening of the medicinal cuisine house, she had forgotten about the recruitment. Now that they mentioned it, she suddenly thought of it. The recruitment was still Ruan Qingshuang's biggest problem. Seeing Su Yun working so hard every day, Ruan Qingshuang felt sorry for him. Kong Zhong suddenly pushed a big man in front of Ruan Qingshuang. Sister Shuang, don't be fooled by this guy's appearance. His cooking skills are real. I thought that since Brother Yun knows him, it would be better to let him help in the restaurant. Hello, Sister Shuang. My name is Liangshan. You can call me Shanzi. Last time, because of a misunderstanding, I was beaten up by Brother Yun. The burly man grinned. Isn't this the guy who caused trouble in Kong Zhong's battlefield? Ruan Qingshuang widened her eyes. She didn't believe that this guy was cut out to be a chef at all. Since the last time he made a mistake in the battlefield, Liangshan went to Kong Zhong's battlefield every day out of guilt. Finally, Kong Zhong forgave him. When Kong Zhong opened the medicinal cuisine house, he took Shanzi to try it. In the end, Shanzi said that he could also cook it. Then, he followed Ruan Qingshuang's ancestral recipe and cooked it. It tasted good. Only then did Kong Zhong think of recommending him to Sister Shuang and Brother Yun. That way, Brother Yun wouldn't have to personally cook every day. Sister Shuang, don't worry. I wouldn't dare to bring you any random person, Kong Zhong promised. His culinary skills are even better than the chefs in my branch. Liangshan did not have the arrogance of the other day. Instead, he gave off a sense of loyalty. Sister Shuang, you can test me tonight. If I can't meet your requirements, I will leave immediately. I will not complain. What else could Ruan Qingshuang do? She could only agree. Then you can stay and give it a try. Lu Feng pushed a girl who looked shy to Ruan Qingshuang. Sister Shuang, this is my uncle's cousin, Lu Wenyi. She just graduated from university and didn't pass the civil servant exam. She's been idling at home. She's too introverted, so I want to train her. However, I can't bear to ask her to work in my shop. Today, I'll entrust her to you. I'll pay her salary." Ruan Qingxuang had a good impression of the shy girl in front of her, who had no social experience at all, because she was very similar to herself when she came to Hadong City alone. "I want her. Of course, I will pay her salary. Don't worry about leaving her to me." "Sister Shuang, I am relieved to hear that." Lu Feng and the others were not afraid of Ruan Qingxuang. They knew that this big sister was a reasonable person. They were willing to be her subordinates. Moreover, they respected this gentle big sister very much. Dan Hongning was the last to appear. He kicked a kid who looked around 17 or 18 years old in front of everyone. "The people you introduced to Sister Shuang are all skilled. I only asked Sister Shuang to help me teach this little bastard a lesson. My brother is Dan Jiahao. His family can't control him, and I can't control him either. Sister Shuang, I will let him do odd jobs for you. If he is disobedient, you can do whatever you want with him. I will not do this kind of dirty work." Dan Jiahao was not so cooperative. Ruan Qingxuang frowned. Dan Hongning was not looking for help for her. He was looking for trouble. "Are you sure I can do whatever I want with him?" "You must." Dan Hongning kicked the guy who wanted to run back. He glared at him. "Little bastard, this is not my shop. You better behave in Sister Shuang's shop. You said that you don't want to go to school. Then work hard for me." It seemed that he was really having a headache with this adolescent brother. Ruan Qingxuang had not been a big sister for a day or two. Even if she was influenced, she still had some style. She said to Liangshan, "Shanzi, this guy will be handed over to you in the future. He will help you do odd jobs in the kitchen." You heard Dan Hongning's words. "You can do whatever you want with him. I will hand him over to you now." Dan Jiahao was a little angry. "Do you think I am a good person? I said I won't do it. I won't do it." Liangshan's huge palm suddenly grabbed over and directly pinched Dan Jiahao's face. From the bulging blue veins on the back of his hand, it could be seen that this guy absolutely used a lot of strength. "Kid, put away your young master disease. This is not the place for you to behave atrociously. I am not as good-tempered as your brother." "Grandson." Dan Jiahao's whole face was in pain. He shouted, "King, let go of me. I will teach you a lesson." "Ah! Let go of me. Do you know how many brothers I have?" Dan Hongning was speechless. Although he felt sorry for his brother, he felt more embarrassed. This son of AB*TCH was really troublesome. He had just reached the 3rd year of high school and he had already quit. He insisted that he wanted to mingle with a group of ruffians every day. He was ignorant and incompetent, causing trouble everywhere. He thought that this was what it meant to mingle with the underworld. Mingle with the underworld did not mean that one had nothing to do. Mingle with the underworld also meant that one had to be able to make money. When Dan Hongning was in the underworld, the money his family gave him allowed him to build Doluo City today. However, this time, the money his family gave Dan Jiahao was squandered by him. Liangshan looked at Dan Hongning. After all, he was his brother. He could not bear to do it. If this guy was not Dan Hongning's brother, he would have beaten the *T out of him. Liangshan was not famous because he had spent too much time in prison. If they really fought, his strength and brothers were not weaker than the southern city's 3 tigers. "Sister Shuang, you can do whatever you want." Dan Hongning gritted his teeth. If he did not beat this *TCH, he would not become useful. As soon as he finished speaking, Liangshan hooked his fist on Dan Jiahao's stomach. He hit the kid so hard that his intestines almost came out. Then he opened the door and threw him out. "If you have the guts, beat me up in the afternoon. Otherwise, you can obediently do odd jobs for me." Dan Jiahao was slammed to the ground. He looked sullen and gritted his teeth. "Good. You have guts. Just you wait." Dan Hongning knew that his brother's group of ruffians could not cause much trouble, so he could not be bothered with him. He looked at Ruan Qingxuang awkwardly and said, Sister Shuang, sorry for the trouble. Ruan Qing did not mind. Then I thank you for being so considerate. When you have time, I will ask Su Yun to treat you to a drink. Haha, let us treat Brother Yun. The southern city's 3 tigers were quite happy. They had done what they needed to do and then left one after another. Su Yun stayed at the International Bilingual School for the whole afternoon. Fortunately, he could act as a coach. Su Xiaoran did not have classes, so the two practiced at the parking lot. Su Yun instructed Su Xiaoran on how to observe, and Su Xiaoran reviewed everything Su Yun taught her in the morning. Although it was impossible for her to become a road expert in theory, it allowed her to know how to deal with many situations. Lu Tianyi did not expect this man to still stay by Su Xiaoran's side. Finally, he could not resist the jealousy in his heart. He stepped on the accelerator and stopped the car in front of the two. This time, Lu Tianyi did not care about his gentlemanly image. He stepped forward and grabbed Su Yun's clothes. Kid, this is the last time I am warning you. You better stay away from Xiao Ran and get lost immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Lu Tianyi, what are you doing? Su Xiaoran was shocked. She did not expect Lu Tianyi to suddenly appear and go crazy. Su Yun smiled faintly and helplessly. Take your hand away. What can you do if I don't take it away? Lu Tianyi glared. Su Yun waved his hand lightly, and Lu Tianyi let go of Su Yun's hand completely. Su Xiaoran did not even see Su Yun move before Lu Tianyi was subdued. She was very surprised at what Su Yun did. Ah! Let go of me! Lu Tianyi's wrist was locked by Su Yun, and any slight struggle would cause a piercing pain. Bastard! You're hurting me! Su Yun casually subdued Lu Tianyi and then casually let him go. I told you to take your hand away, but you didn't want to. Lu Tianyi glared fiercely at Su Yun. Good, you've got guts. Lu Tianyi had a good body from working out in the gym, but he was no doubt a weakling when it came to fighting. He had never fought with anyone since he was young, and there would always be someone who would settle it for him. Originally, Lu Tianyi went to find his dad to ask him to send someone to teach this bastard who was fighting over his woman a lesson. But he did not expect his dad to rope in Red Scorpion, and Red Scorpion even promised to help him open up his meridians tomorrow, making him a true beginner master. That was why Lu Tianyi did not mention that someone was fighting over his woman. He would become a master tomorrow, and then he would be able to easily take care of his love rival and establish a great image in front of Su Xiaoran. Kid, if you have the guts, fight with me tomorrow. Whoever loses will withdraw. Lu Tianyi was calculating in his heart. Whoever wins will get Xiao Ran. Su Xiaoran frowned. Who did this guy think he was? How could he be so casual about things like feelings? Feelings were not goods, they were about mutual love. Su Yun ignored Lu Tianyi's declaration of war. I don't have time to play with you. You better stop bothering Miss Su, and I'm warning you for the last time. You don't dare to fight with me, Lu Tianyi demanded. Su Yun glared back at him. You want to fight? Then come, let's do it now. Lu Tianyi took a step back and said nervously, I said tomorrow. I don't have time to waste with you today. Whatever. Su Yun really couldn't stand this kind of dilly-dallying guy. Lu Tianyi looked at Su Xiaoran. Xiaoran, I'll prove to you that I'm a real man. I'll make you fall in love with me. Su Xiaoran's face darkened, and she said seriously, Teacher Lu, if you keep bothering me, I'm afraid we can't even be friends anymore. Goodbye. Chapter 96. After school in the afternoon, Su Xiaoran naturally took the responsibility of sending the two back to the medicinal cuisine house. On the way, Su Xiaoran decisively proposed to pick up Guagua every day and let Su Yun accompany her every day. Su Yun naturally agreed. After arriving at the medicinal cuisine house, Su Yun invited Su Xiaoran to stay. Su Xiaoran was too embarrassed to continue to freeload. Before Ruan Qing came out, she quickly ran away. After returning to the medicinal cuisine house, Guagua sighed meaningfully. I didn't expect Miss Su to take the initiative to attack. Attack what? Ruan Qingxuang was amused by her serious look. What are you thinking about? Guagua touched her chin and continued to talk to herself. It seems that girls really like bad boys. No wonder Dad is so popular. Sister Wan also likes him. Miss Su also likes him. Mom, you really have to be careful now. Ruan Qingxuang was speechless. What was this little girl thinking about every day? Guagua, can you not accuse me? Qin Wan said angrily. I like bad boys, but I don't like bad boys. It's obvious that your father is the type that's spoiled. Guagua snorted and disagreed. The more anxious you are to explain, the more guilty you are. Guagua's words were so pleasant that Su Yun certainly would not stop her from continuing to analyze. He just looked at the new waiter in the medicinal cuisine house with interest and asked Ruan Qingxuang, Sister Shuang, did you just hire her? She is Lu Feng's cousin, Lu Wenyi. Lu Feng asked her to come here to practice. Ruan Qingxuang smiled. There is a chef in the kitchen introduced by Kong Zhong. You know him. Know him? Su Yun was stunned. He did not remember knowing any chef. Brother Yun. Liang Shan came out of the kitchen and grinned at Su Yun. Do you still remember me? I'm Shanzi. You. Su Yun was stunned. You can cook. You're not a spy sent to ruin my reputation, are you? Ruan Qingxuang covered her mouth and chuckled. At first, she also doubted Shanzi's culinary skills, but after he cooked a few dishes, Ruan Qingxuang was surprised. This guy's culinary skills were definitely not bragging. He was on par with Su Yun. They both had their own methods to remove the medicinal taste of the medicinal cuisine. Liang Shan giggled a few times. Brother Yun, my family used to run a restaurant when I was young. When I was 5, I knew how to lift a ladle. When I was 6, I created a signature dish called Fragrant Dead Dog. When I was 7, I knew how to cook almost all kinds of Shandong cuisine. When I was 8, I came into contact with Sichuan cuisine, Cantonese cuisine, Hunan cuisine. Stop, don't tell me your resume. I believe you. Su Yun raised his hand to stop him. Having a chef was a good thing. At least he was relieved. Since Sister Shuang wants you, it means you have some skills. Do a good job. Okay. Liang Shan nodded vigorously. Being a chef was much more stable than driving an illegal car. He did not have to hide from the traffic police all day. Su Yun then thought of something. By the way, Shanzi, let your sister work in the restaurant. We are short of people anyway. Liang Shan was stunned. Really? Do you think I'm joking? Su Yun said. Brother Yun, I can't thank you enough, Liang Shan said with a fist salute. Guagua looked at the new chef curiously. Suddenly, she sniffed. It's burnt. Liang Shan was shocked and hurried back to the kitchen. Su Yun smiled. Sister Shuang, I didn't expect the restaurant to have so many helpers after I was gone for a day. Haha, Kong Zhong introduced the chef. Lu Feng introduced the waiters. How can Dan Hongning be left out? Didn't he bring anyone? He did. Ruan Qingxuang shook her head helplessly. He sent his brother here to do odd jobs. But that kid didn't cooperate and was scolded away by Shanzi. He said he would come back in the afternoon to take revenge. Dan Hongning couldn't control him. He said he could educate him as long as he was not beaten to death. Su Yun was speechless. Even Dan Hongning had to be obedient in this restaurant. His brother actually dared to cause trouble. It seemed that he was really a hopeless guy. Then I'll help him educate him. Dad, remember to collect tuition. Guagua did not forget to collect money at this time. As they were talking, a high school student pushed the door open and entered. No matter how hard he tried to pretend to be fierce and domineering, he could not hide the childishness and guilt in his heart. Where's the boss? What? Su Yun impatiently rolled his eyes at the ruffian. The ruffian was stunned. He stared at Su Yun and said angrily, Who's the chef? Our brother Hao wants to meet him. Su Yun pointed at himself. I am. Your brother Hao wants to meet me? Then why didn't he just bring you guys in? Our brother Hao doesn't want to disturb the business of this medicinal cuisine restaurant because of his brother. Come with me now. The ruffian tried to show his domineering aura, but no matter what, he did not show it. Some of the customers who were eating could not help but frown. They sighed that the young people nowadays were getting more and more lawless. Liang Shan stood out from the kitchen. Just as he was about to speak, he saw Su Yun waving his hand to signal him to go in and cook. Okay, then I'll go with you to meet your brother Hao. Su Yun now had nothing to do. With such a capable chef, he could really have a good rest. The ruffian quickly opened the door and ran out. His heart was probably beating very fast now. Qin Wan glanced at Su Yun. Hit them harder. These bastards don't study hard. Let them suffer a little. Okay. Su Yun smiled and left it at that. No matter what, he's Dan Hongning's brother. Try not to go too far. Ruan Qingshuang was a little worried. She knew that Su Yun hit them hard. Su Yun said lightly, if he wasn't Dan Hongning's brother, I wouldn't care. With that said, Su Yun strode out with a unique demeanor. Guagua sighed again. As expected of my dad. This is what it means to be manly. No wonder women like him. Cough. Guagua, don't be so subjective and drag me in, okay? Qin Wan rolled her eyes. Sister Wan if you don't have a guilty conscience, why do you deny it? Guagua said seriously. I think you're the one who fell the deepest. Qin Wan couldn't argue with Guagua, so she could only hit. I think you're the one with the most itchy but... Mom, help. Su Yun walked out of the medicinal cuisine restaurant. There were 7 or 8 high school students standing by the roadside with cigarettes in their mouths. When they saw Su Yun come out, they were all unconvinced. They threw their cigarettes on the ground and surrounded him. Whose brother Hao? Su Yun frowned. Why are you looking for me? Who are you? I'm looking for their chef. Dan Jiahao walked out from behind the crowd with a cigarette in his mouth. If you don't want to cause trouble, get lost. Su Yun's figure suddenly flashed. He bypassed the 7 or 8 students and came in front of Dan Jiahao. Dan Jiahao's face changed. He only felt a gust of wind sweep past him, and the cigarette in his mouth was gone. He didn't even get to see what was going on. The new chef is cooking. He's looking for me. Su Yun threw away the half-cigarette in his hand. Didn't your brother teach you not to talk to people with a cigarette in your mouth? If you don't have manners, why are you still here? Dan Jiahao was shocked. You're Su Yun, right? Oh, you know a lot. Su Yun didn't deny it. This was the first time Dan Jiahao had seen a man that even his older brother admired. He was completely different from what he had imagined. How could this guy be a man that could convince his older brother? Stop pretending. How can you be Su Yun? I advise you not to cause trouble for yourself. If you don't get lost, don't blame me for being rude. How rude? Su Yun looked at the bastard in front of him provocatively. Dan Jiahao suddenly ordered, Then I'll tell you. My brothers are not people to be trifled with. Beat them up. The 7 or 8 students all followed Dan Jiahao. The reason was very simple. Dan Jiahao's brother was one of the famous 3 tigers of South City. Therefore, following Dan Jiahao gave them more face and made them feel more like they were part of society. With Brother Hao's order, everyone was naturally more active than the other. They all wanted to show off their skills. Suddenly, one person fell down heavily. Everyone was dumbfounded. Their belts were broken at some point. It didn't matter if they didn't move. Once they moved, their pants would fall down. The guy who rushed the most was tripped by his own pants and fell to the ground. Su Yun sneered and suddenly threw the 7 or 8 belt buckles on the ground. You can't even keep your pants down. You want to play with me? Bastard! Dan Jiahao was furious and was about to hit him. Su Yun didn't show any fear. You too. Hearing this, Dan Jiahao suddenly felt that his pants were loose. He quickly pulled his pants up. Your brother asked you to do odd jobs. You don't want to? Su Yun raised his eyebrows and asked. Dan Jiahao glared. Of course I don't want to. Pa dash. The slap made Dan Jiahao's head spin. How could he have known that the person in front of him would suddenly make a move? Moreover, the slap was so heavy that it almost knocked his teeth out. This bastard was too ruthless, right? Are you happy? Su Yun asked again. No. Dan Jiahao had never been treated like this in his life. Of course, he refused. Su Yun didn't say anything. He raised his hand and slapped him again. This slap was even more ruthless. Dan Jiahao only felt that the sky was dark and his eyes were full of stars. Dan Jiahao was slapped twice. He didn't see when Su Yun made his move. He instantly panicked. At this time, the group of ruffians who lost their pants had solved their problems. Seeing that Brother Hao was beaten to the point where he couldn't fight back, they were instantly dumbfounded. Could this fight still be fought? Su Yun suddenly turned around. Instantly, a wave of coldness hit the 7 or 8 ruffians led by Dan Jiahao. These guys felt a chill in their heads and almost peed in their pants. They were suppressed by Su Yun's aura until their legs trembled. From the beginning, they looked down on Su Yun to the current fear and panic. The whole process was because of his aura. Although these guys didn't want to admit it, they had to admit that they were completely frightened by the other party. The fear that came from the bottom of their hearts was the most terrifying. Do you want to do odd jobs? Su Yun asked Dan Jiahao again. Dan Jiahao finally knew that the person in front of him wasn't a fake Su Yun. No wonder even his brother was willing to be his subordinate. It turned out that there were people in the world who could defeat their opponents with just aura. Dang. When Dan Jiahao said this, it meant that he had completely surrendered. Who would have thought that this guy who would hold up the Dan family's banner in the future actually started from washing vegetables and doing odd jobs? Get lost and do your work. Su Yun waved his hand. He turned around and glared at Dan Jiahao's underlings. Why are you still here? Chapter 97. At 7:45 in the evening, a dark green SUV suddenly drove into the police station. The guards on duty couldn't stop it at all. The car made a beautiful turn and stopped directly in front of the police station's office building. The 3 guards quickly ran to the car that had suddenly broken in. They frowned and wanted to teach these 2 people a lesson for not greeting them when they entered the door. Hey, why are you all so hostile? We're family. A young man jumped out of the driver's seat. He was 1.85 meters tall and had a strong body. His dark green tight t-shirt made his huge chest muscles very obvious. He had a faint smile on his face and didn't feel that there was anything wrong with what he was doing. Then a young and beautiful girl came out of the front passenger seat. She had a ponytail and eyes like autumn water. She was also dressed simply. Her twin peaks were enough to show disdain for models. The girl's temperament was so noble and elegant that the 3 guards didn't know what to say. Who are you people? The older guard could tell that these 2 young people were definitely not looking for trouble. Looking at their clothes, they were definitely not ordinary people. We're looking for Bureau Chief Chen. Where is he? The young girl was straightforward and didn't have any intention of answering their questions. The guard was startled. You can look for Bureau Chief Chen, but you have to register first. Where's your ID? Also, tell me who you are and what department you're from. This is the police station, not your backyard. Not just anyone can come in. The strong young man smiled. It seems that your leader is really tight-lipped, hee. You have no right to ask who we are. The young girl's face was slightly serious. What floor is Bureau Chief Chen's office on? Miss, don't be so aggressive. After all, they were the guards of the police station, not the security of an ordinary place. If you don't cooperate, don't blame us for being impolite. The young man hurriedly waved his hand and explained. No. Please don't do anything. We're guests. Guests have to register too. Other than the municipal party secretary, you're the first one who didn't slow down and stop to say hello. The guard was unhappy. He was going to fight to the death with these two people today. The young and beautiful ponytail girl's face turned cold. She was unhappy. The people here really didn't know how to be flexible. Some confidential things couldn't be said carelessly. The young man had no choice but to take out his phone and make a call. Chief Chen, you should have received the notice that we are coming to the Hadong City Police Station, right? It was almost 8 o'clock in the evening, but Chen Wei still hadn't left the police station. After he reported the matter of Red Scorpion in Hadong City, the higher-ups gave him a clear reply. Since the other party was already extremely vicious, then he must not act recklessly. The higher-ups would arrange for 2 people to rush to Hadong City's police station tonight to receive them and explain the situation. Chen Wei had been waiting. Although he was already anxious, he still forced himself to calm down and wait. Suddenly, his phone rang. When Chen Wei saw that the number was not displayed, he frowned and answered the call. Who is this? Many scam calls were made without numbers. Chen Wei wanted to know who dared to scam him, the head of the police station. Director Chen, you should have received the notice that we are coming to the Hadong City Police Station, right? The person on the phone was the young man from downstairs, but Chen Wei did not know that. Chen Wei felt relieved. Finally, they were here. Where are the esteemed guests? I will immediately send someone to receive them. We are downstairs at your police station, but the comrade outside is too serious, so we can't go in. The young man smiled faintly. If you have a rule that requires you to enter and register, then I can only say that I am sorry, but we have our own rules too. Chen Wei immediately understood the purpose of the call and immediately went downstairs to receive them. The 3 security guards didn't expect that Chief Chen would come down personally to greet them. These 2 guys were really VIPs among VIPs. After all, Chief Chen didn't greet many people personally, and all of them were officials above the office level. I am sorry, it is a misunderstanding. I did not tell the people downstairs because... Chen Wei smiled and defended his people, but he did not make it clear. The 2 people on the other side understood what he meant. They knew that he was trying to keep it a secret. The young man smiled faintly. I understand. Then shall we go upstairs and talk? It is good that you understand. Chen Wei smiled faintly and gestured for the 3 guards to leave. Then, he looked curiously at the young girl. The information given to him by the higher-ups was to arrange for 2 people to secretly complete the capture of the S-class wanted criminal, Red Scorpion. However, Chen Wei could not understand why one of them was a girl. The young man had a strong physique and looked like an expert, but a girl. The young man seemed to have seen through Chen Wei's thoughts. Chief Chen, do you still not trust the arrangements made by the higher-ups? Chen Wei was slightly taken aback, and an awkward expression appeared on his face. No, that is not what I meant. I just feel that... it is nothing. Please come upstairs. A man and a woman followed behind Chen Wei as they walked up the stairs. Chen Wei's heart was still filled with doubts. After all, he was very clear on how vicious and evil Scarlet Scorpion was. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't understand why the higher-ups would arrange for a girl to handle this matter. As the head of the Hadong City Police Station, he naturally felt uneasy. If something happened to the people arranged by the higher-ups on his territory, it would be troublesome. The 3 of them entered the chief's office. Chen Wei closed the door and drew the curtains. Then, as a host, he poured tea for the 2 of them. Chen Wei knew very well that the people arranged by the higher-ups were definitely not simple. Although he did not know which secret unit this man and woman were from, he was certain that since they could be called a secret unit, they were at least of the rank of major. Chief Chen, you do not need to be so polite with us. The young man interrupted the busy Chen Wei. We did not come here to drink tea. We hope to obtain some useful information from you. Chen Wei heard this and sat down. I will definitely tell you everything I know. But, how should I address you too? The young man smiled. You can call me Azure Dragon and Hereen Long. Chen Wei was stunned. A secret organization was a secret organization. Even the name was a code name. Azure Dragon, Ian Long. Although I do not know your abilities, believe me, Red Scorpion is not someone who is easy to deal with. You probably did not have the chance to fight him head-on. How would you know Red Scorpion's strength? Ponytail, codenamed Ian Long, said casually. If I were Red Scorpion, I would not let go of any police officer who fought me head-on. Chen Wei nodded. It is true that I did not fight him head-on, but I am certain that he is not an ordinary criminal. The young man took a sip of tea. He knew what Chief Chen was going to say, so he listened attentively. Perhaps you will not believe me, but there is a female police officer in Hadong City's Wenhui District Police Station. She is the only person in Hadong City's police force who has been able to continuously perform miraculous feats. Chen Wei said, a girl who single-handedly overturned 2 underworld gangs and even killed an A-class wanted criminal, Goshawk Gongyu. Hearing this, the young man and Ponytail raised their heads and looked at Chen Wei with suspicious eyes. If a female police officer had the ability to overturn 2 underworld gangs, they would not be surprised. But to say that she had killed a second-rate expert in the underworld like Goshawk was too unbelievable. Chen Wei chuckled. Of course, I did not believe that I could have such a genius under my command, so I did some research. The young man opened his mouth. Could it be that she has someone helping her from behind? Yes. Chen Wei did not deny it. Although I have no evidence, I am certain that she does not have the ability. She must have the help of someone important. This was indeed an interesting place. The young man and Ponytail looked at each other. They did not expect that there would be an expert hidden in this small city. I once thought of borrowing that person's strength to deal with Red Scorpion. I thought that the female police officer under my command would be able to take down Red Scorpion with that person's help. But unfortunately, I did not get an answer after so many days. I am afraid that person is not Red Scorpion's match. Chen Wei said, therefore, even if I did not face Red Scorpion head-on, I am still certain that he is an extremely vicious person. The young man nodded. Chief Chin, that is indeed the case. Fortunately, none of you faced Red Scorpion head-on. Ponytail furrowed her brows. She was curious as to what kind of expert would be hiding in Hadong City and what his intentions would be. Or could it be that the mysterious expert did not make a move against Red Scorpion because he and Red Scorpion were in cahoots? Ponytail did not let go of any suspicious points. Chief Chin, can you tell me where the female police officer under your command lives? I want to know who she normally interacts with. I have already investigated this. She does not live alone. She lives in the most famous medicinal cuisine restaurant in the Wenhui district. It seems to be the restaurant of one of her sisters. Chen Wei said, however, there are no suspicious characters in the restaurant. Ponytail nodded, but in her heart she did not agree. A truly suspicious character would not give himself away, especially if the other party was an expert. Ian Long, it is best that you do not think too much about things outside of the mission. The young man seemed to have seen through Ponytail's thoughts and reminded her in a low voice. Ponytail ignored the young man's question and turned her head to look elsewhere. As for Red Scorpion, I am currently at my wit's end. Just as we confirmed the person protecting Red Scorpion immediately killed him. Chen Wei sighed. Right now, there are no clues at all. Chief Chen, it is getting late. We will not disturb you any further. The young man stood up. Since the mission has been given to us, I hope that the police will not interfere. I do not wish for innocent people to lose their lives because of this. Chen Wei's brows furrowed. Don't you need the support and cooperation of our police force? You will only cause trouble. Ponytail did not have the slightest intention of being polite and directly denied it. The young man smiled helplessly. If we need it, we will contact you immediately. Thank you, Chief Chen, for your kindness. We will take our leave. Then, I will arrange accommodation for the two of you, Chen Wei said hurriedly. After all, they were people arranged by the higher-ups. He had to do a good job of receiving them. Chapter 98. The dark green SUV still left the police station in a rampage. The 3 guards at the entrance all stood up and saluted. The car quickly disappeared from Chen Wei's sight. To be honest, Chen Wei really didn't believe that those 2 young people could solve the Scarlet Scorpion problem. However, he couldn't report these doubts to his superiors. The entanglement in his heart wasn't something that could be explained in a few words. Were the 2 people arranged by his superiors trustworthy? Director Chen doesn't seem to trust us. The young man drove straight to a hotel chain that he had booked before coming. Rest well tonight. I'm going to take a look around Hadong City. I've heard that this place has a long history and a lot of beauties. Ponytail ignored the young man and went straight to the front desk of the hotel to register. Seeing that she was bored, the young man quickly drove away. He was quite sullen in his heart. He had always been out on missions with his brothers, but this was the first time he had brought a woman out. It was really inconvenient. Don't look at how sullen he was in his heart. The others were dying of envy. This was the first time a girl had come to their task force. How could they not find it fresh? Ponytail's appearance was sweet and quiet. Her temperament was especially good, and she gave off a wild and untamed feeling. She was definitely the kind of innocent little sister next door that any man would want to possess. After registering at the front desk, Ponytail went straight to the elevator. When the elevator door opened, Ponytail calmly walked in. Suddenly, 2 men who had too much to drink hurriedly rushed over from behind. They blocked the elevator door that was about to close and walked in. Phew! Burp! The 2 men reeked of alcohol. One of them wore a gold necklace with a shiny forehead, while the other was naked with tattoos on his upper body. When the 2 noticed Ponytail in the elevator, they couldn't help but stare at her. Ponytail couldn't help but frown. She hated men's gazes that didn't hide their intentions. Suddenly, the bald man with the gold necklace spoke first. "Little sister, you're here to get on the clock, right?" Ponytail didn't pay any attention to the bald man. She looked straight ahead, treating him as if he didn't exist. "Yo, you've got quite the temper." The tattooed man chuckled. "Little sister, we brothers don't have any bad intentions. If you're here to get on the clock, why don't you just play with us? Name your price. It won't be lower than them." The 2 of them thought that the girl with a ponytail was a prostitute. Ponytail tried her best to control her emotions. She didn't want to cause more trouble. "Sister, Big Brother has some good stuff in his room. It's purer than the ones on the market. How about it? Are you interested in playing with it? I promise you'll feel good." The bald man wearing the gold chain had no intention of giving up. Ponytail's expression changed. "You guys are skating?" The tattooed man chuckled. "Don't be so blunt, okay? Do you want to play, little sister? Let's go together." "Okay." The man with a ponytail actually agreed. This time, the bald man with the gold chain and the young man with the dragon and tiger tattoos were both stunned. From the beginning, they had been thinking of casually flirting with her. They never thought that such a high-quality sister would agree to their request. At first, they did think that she was a prostitute. But later, they thought that she was such a high-quality woman and completely ignored them. She might just be a mistress of some rich man for fun. So, they just wanted to tease her. Now that Ponytail had suddenly agreed, the 2 of them were somewhat surprised. After the surprise, they were ecstatic. It turned out that such a good temperament and pure-looking sister was actually a drug addict. This time, the bald man and the tattooed man couldn't help but lean on Ponytail. Ponytail took a step back and vigilantly said, "This is an elevator. There are surveillance cameras." Although the 2 of them were burning with impatience, they still restrained themselves. As long as this girl followed them into the room and slipped some ice, this job would be done. Now, the 2 of them were only thinking about how to deal with this girl in front of them. Soon, the elevator arrived at the guest room upstairs. The tattooed man couldn't wait to take out the room card and ran over. The bald man smiled lecherously and guided Ponytail to their room. Ponytail was led to their guest room by the bald man. The bald man quickly closed the door. The tattooed man took out a bag of ice from his pocket and shook it. Then, he pointed to a glass ice pot in the corner of the room. There was a tube on top of it. He looked very professional. "Sister, try it. Big brother promises that you won't forget it for the rest of your life." Humph. Ponytail's eyes suddenly revealed a cold light. Her girl-next-door temperament was swept away. Her whole body emitted a biting cold aura. The bald man behind Ponytail was definitely a good-for-nothing. After closing the door, he was about to pounce on Ponytail. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept past. Ponytail whipped her leg as fast as lightning and kicked the 160 kilograms bald man over. The bald man's head hit the wall. Originally he was drunk, but now, he was even more dizzy. F***CK. The tattooed man saw this and cursed. Without another word, the ponytailed girl flashed past. The tattooed guy didn't even see clearly how the weak girl made her move. That hard knee smashed into his chin with a force as powerful as a mountain. A sharp pain made the tattooed man's vision turn black. His legs were completely unsteady. The moment the tattooed man fell to the ground, Ponytail suddenly raised her heel and fiercely smashed it into the tattooed man's face. The tattooed man didn't even have the chance to scream before he fainted. When the bald man came back to his senses, he instantly sobered up. He knew that the intruder didn't have good intentions. He didn't expect this weak girl to be so fierce. He didn't care about brotherhood and hurriedly wanted to rush out of the door. But just as he opened the door, a gust of wind came from behind. Then, he was hit in the back. His whole body fiercely pushed the door open and slammed into the wall of the corridor. The bald man wanted to shout, but Ponytail ruthlessly elbowed him in the back of the head. He couldn't even make half a sound before he sat down on the ground. The seemingly weak girl next door was actually so swift and fierce. So swift and fierce. She easily took care of 2 gangsters in half a minute. It seemed that the first female member in the history of a special task force wasn't just a vase. Ponytail clapped her hands and walked straight back to her room. She was too lazy to call the police, because she knew that if someone saw her, they would naturally do so. What she needed now was rest. It hadn't even been 24 hours since the end of the last mission. She still had to pay a visit to Chin Wan Er's medicinal cuisine restaurant tomorrow to see if there were any clues. The young man driving the off-road vehicle passed through the big streets and small alleys of Hadong City. He found it very difficult to understand why a first-rate expert like Scarlet Scorpion would come to a small city like Hadong City. What was his goal? He felt that as long as he knew Scarlet Scorpion's goal, this matter would be much simpler. But what was his goal? The young man's mind was a mess. He sincerely hoped that he could have his boss's brain. Suddenly thinking of his boss, the young man's expression became somewhat dispirited. He didn't know how his boss was doing now. After leaving them for so long, he didn't know if he had thought of them. The young man suddenly stopped the car in front of a bar. "Forget it, I'll just drink." In any case, he wasn't prepared to go back. After all, he really couldn't figure out that new girl. It was better to act separately. Although Scarlet Scorpion wasn't a first-rate expert that was easy to deal with, the young man felt that if the two of them worked together, they still had a good chance. After all, he and Ian Long were both first-rate experts. Although they hadn't reached the pinnacle, if the two of them worked together, it definitely wouldn't be something that ordinary people could deal with. The medicinal cuisine restaurant sent off the last customer. Liang Shan and LV when he left work one after another and went home. Ruan Qingxuang was no longer that little boss who didn't have any money on hand. Her salary was set at an acceptable level. Liang Shan did technical work, so his salary was a little higher. Although LV Wenny and Dan Jiahao didn't do technical work, Ruan Qingxuang also promised that if they did well, there would be a bonus at the end of the month. Dan Jiahao dawdled until Liang Shan and LV Wenny left and still didn't leave. Ruan Qingxuang asked, "Your brother is coming to pick you up?" "He doesn't care about me." Dan Jiahao shook his head and then looked expectantly at Su Yun. "Brother Yun, can you teach me a few moves? When you gave me those 2 big mouths in the afternoon, I didn't even see you make a move. I know that you're definitely one of those hidden experts in the city. Su Yun rolled his eyes. I'm only 1.75 meters tall and I'm considered an expert? People say that small seclusion in the wilderness, big seclusion in the city. You're definitely an expert. Dan Jiahao said with certainty. You've read too many novels. If you don't want to get beaten, then hurry up and scram. Su Yun impatiently waved his hand. This guy's skin was much thicker than his brother's. Dan Jiahao's face was filled with righteous indignation. I'll definitely worship you as my master until you agree to take me in. Su Yun laughed. Sure. You want to worship me as your master, right? The first thing you do every day at work is run to Deming Pharmacy in the city's central district and buy 2 ounces of wolfberry. If you can hold on, then talk to me about conditions. Okay. I'll definitely do as you say, master. Dan Jiahao's face was filled with excitement. In his opinion, Su Yun had agreed to his request. Su Yun was speechless. He was just saying it perfunctorily. If this guy really ran, he would be a fool. The distance between the medicinal cuisine restaurant and the pharmacy was more than 30 kilometers. A round trip was nearly 70 kilometers. The marathon was only about 40 kilometers. When Cho Yun came back from her patrol, the medicinal cuisine restaurant was closed as usual. Su Yun, who had broken through his state of mind, finally understood why his master had always wanted him to meditate and breathe. His breakthrough in the state of mind was not simply due to the outbreak of his inner demon when he encountered a strong enemy. It was because his state of mind was more stable than before due to his constant meditation and breathing. Therefore, when his inner demon broke out, it did not cause any pressure or damage to his state of mind. This led to the result of his inner demon's outbreak. If it were not for the many days of meditation and breathing, this outbreak of his inner demon would not have allowed him to break through his state of mind and step into the realm of a super expert. Perhaps it would have directly taken his life. This was the 3rd time after Yin Long's death that Su Yun's inner demon broke out. It was also the only time that he did not become a demon. Thinking of Yin Long, Su Yun's heart became even more desolate. He did not know if there was a newcomer who could replace Yin Long's position. Bang bang bang. After 3 knocks, Qin Wan suddenly opened the door and slipped in. Chapter 99. Qin Wan was speechless. She was so angry that she rolled her eyes and quickly turned her head. Don't pretend to be insulted, okay? Put on your clothes. Su Yun was a little confused. She came to his room in the middle of the night and didn't let him take off his clothes, but asked him to put on his clothes? Was there any justice in this? Was it because she was afraid of being heard and wanted to go out? Before Su Yun finished his fantasy, Qin Wan-er's threatening voice came. Put on your clothes. Don't make me say it a 3rd time. Su Yun obediently put on his beach pants. Do you want to go on a date with me? First of all, I don't have a car. I don't have the ability to have car sex. Do you believe that I will castrate you? Qin Wan-er gritted her teeth. Su Yun, this bastard, made her collapse. Can you be more serious? Su Yun was quite speechless. A serious person would have gone to bed at this time. Okay, you don't have to face the wall. I'm dressed. Qin Wan turned her head with an angry face. It's not like I haven't seen it before. Su Yun whispered. She had seen his naked body when he took a shower that day. Qin Wan said fiercely, Su Yun, I'm warning you. You'd better forget what happened that night. Otherwise, I might accidentally fire my gun one day. Okay, I won't tell anyone. Su Yun hurriedly said. Anyway, his eyes didn't lose anything. Let's talk about business. What do you want to do with me in the middle of the night? Qin Wan pulled a chair and sat in front of Su Yun. That night, Dan Jiahao said that he wanted to be Su Yun's disciple, which directly inspired Qin Wan-er's idea. She suddenly felt that she had to learn some skills from Su Yun. Why did she say that she had to? After all, she was a policewoman. In the future, she would have to deal with all kinds of criminals. She was not afraid of ordinary gangsters, but if she encountered those who could be called masters, she would have no room to fight back at all. Now, Qin Wan had to be able to face the real villains, so she had to improve herself. The kung fu she learned in the police academy was enough to deal with gangsters, but it was not enough to deal with the real villains. From today onwards, you will be responsible for training me into an expert. Qin Wan made up her mind and said, "You can't refuse. I'm not a kid like Dan Hongning's brother. Don't try to brush me off. I won't run dozens of kilometers every day to buy wolfberries for you." Su Yun did not expect Qin Wan to have such thoughts. He shrugged his shoulders and refused. "There are rules when you become my disciple. If you can't buy wolfberry for a month, I can't teach you." Qin Wan said aggressively, "I will ask you one more time. Are you going to teach me or not?" "No." Su Yun shook his head. "I'm not running a cram school. I can't sign up just because you want to." Suddenly, Qin Wan unbuttoned the top 2 buttons of her shirt. "Su Yun, you'd better think clearly. Are you going to teach me or not?" Su Yun's eyes lit up. He admitted that he was indeed shocked by Qin Wan. Qin Wan's body was already amazing. Now, she unbuttoned the top 2 buttons in such a charming way. It was really terrible. If Su Yun did not rely on his self-control, he would probably have a nosebleed. Girls these days were really bold. They were so generous to learn skills. He had to accept this disciple. Su Yun was not the kind of immortal who could stand the test of a beautiful girl in his arms. He would definitely accept as many beautiful disciples as he could get. Before Su Yun could say the word teach, Qin Wan said, "Have you thought about it?" "I've thought it through." You've already given yourself to me. If I still don't agree, I'll be too unappreciative." Su Yun tried his best not to spurt out blood from his nose. "When do we begin? Promise yourself to me? You must be dreaming." Qin Wan stared at Su Yun. "If you don't agree, I will shout molestation." "Damn! Is she threatening me?" Su Yun thought that he had hit the jackpot. He did not expect it to be a disaster. If she shouted, she would wake up Guagua and the others. At that time, it would be like yellow mud falling into his pants. He would not be able to explain himself even if he was beaten to death. Qin Wan said as she unbuttoned the 3rd button. Her clothes moved back and her shoulders were exposed. It was really wonderful. "I will count to 3. Su Yun swallowed a mouthful of saliva. 1. "I will teach." Su Yun knew that he had no other choice. He was afraid that compared to believing that he was innocent, more people would choose to believe that Qin Wan was not so lame. Qin Wan's eyes finally showed a look of victory. She quickly put on her clothes. It was not easy to learn these days. Her body was exposed so much. "Then tell me, what do you want to learn?" Su Yun's face looked bitter. "You can teach me whatever you know." Qin Wan did not refuse. Anyway, she knew that no matter if it was fists, feet, knives, swords, or guns, she was not as good as Su Yun. "It would be best if you could quickly subdue the enemy. The moves you usually use will do." Su Yun was speechless. He used the simplest military boxing. He needed to know how to adapt to the enemy. Moreover, it was not enough to reach the peak of a skill. Only a first-class master who had opened all the meridians in the body could do that. Therefore, it was impossible for Qin Wan to reach that step. But at this step, if Su Yun did not teach her something, she would not leave. The best weapon to quickly subdue the enemy is a handgun. It is better than anything else. Qin Wan frowned. She still felt that Su Yun was patronizing her. "I know this. I don't need you to teach me." "That is not necessarily true." Su Yun shook his head and threw the phone to Qin Wan. "If you are holding a gun now and I am a criminal, how are you going to aim and shoot?" Qin Wan's hands were flat and the phone in her hand was pretending to be a gun. She aimed directly at Su Yun. "This is enough to kill you." "Wrong." Su Yun shook his head and took the phone from Qin Wan. He held the phone in one hand and stood with his feet spread out. When shooting with a handgun, you usually hold the gun with one hand to reduce the shaking of the gun and increase the stability of the gun. This is the foundation of accurate shooting. You are holding the gun with both hands because you are not stable enough. It is a sign of lack of confidence. His words hit Qin Wan-er's weak point. She was used to holding the gun with both hands because she always felt that it could reduce the shaking of the wrist. Qin Wan-er explained, "That is because I am afraid that I am not strong enough and the gun is not stable." Su Yun shook his head. The key to holding the gun is the balance of the force, not the strength of the arm. To play with a gun, you need to understand the 5 key points: standing, holding, straightening, stretching, and turning. Qin Wan-er did not learn these things in the police academy. "Why do you know how to shoot? Where did you learn it?" In the shooting range." Su Yun said, "If you want to learn, do as I say." Qin Wan-er suddenly turned and walked out of Su Yun's room. 1 minute later, she really came back with her gun. The gun was empty and had no bullets, but Qin Wan-er still put on the safety. Since she chose to believe in Su Yun, she decided to learn. "You are very serious." "Not bad." Su Yun smiled faintly. "When you hold the gun, you need to use even strength. The gun handle should be stuck between your thumb and forefinger. Relax your index finger. Your wrist and forearm should be straight. Use your forearm to drive your forearm." Qin Wan-er followed Su Yun's instructions. She had learned these steps in the police academy. "Relax your arm, but don't bend it." Su Yun walked to Qin Wan-er's side and said, "You don't need to straighten your chest when shooting. Why are you so tall?" Su Yun. A murderous aura came from Qin Wan-er. I'm sorry. I forgot that you were born with it," Su Yun said with a trembling voice. The two of them were practicing in the room. They did not hear the sound of Guagua getting up and going to the bathroom. When Guagua came out of the bathroom, yawning, she was completely attracted by the sound in Su Yun's room. "Spread your legs, a little more." "Ouch, you don't need to spread them so wide. Be at the shoulder level." "Is this okay? Can I shoot now?" Guagua's eyes widened. This was really a big deal. She did not expect that her father and sister Wan-er were together. Thinking of this, Guagua did not care about anything inappropriate for children. She pushed open the door to Su Yun's room. Su Yun and Qin Wan-er were really shocked. Guagua was confused. She was originally excited that she would see something that she should not see. Unexpectedly, the two of them were standing in a strange position. "Father, Sister Wan-er, what are you two doing?" "Phew." Qin Wan-er saw that it was Guagua and let out a long breath. "Nothing. Sister Wan-er has something to teach me." "Guagua, be good. Go to sleep." "Hee, she is learning from a teacher." Su Yun's face was serious. "I definitely did not do anything to hurt your mother." Guagua shrugged indifferently. "Sister Wan-er, what are you asking father to teach you?" "Sister asked your father to teach me how to use a pistol." After Qin Wan-er finished speaking, she obviously felt that she had said something wrong. Her face was slightly red and she was stunned. Su Yun also broke out in a cold sweat. "Damn, can't you say it more tactfully?" Fortunately, Guagua was an innocent child. She did not understand the unintentional meaning in the words. She nodded and said to Qin Wan-er, "Sister Wan-er, learn well. When you learn how to teach Guagua, you will." "I am going to sleep now." "Okay," Qin Wan-er hurriedly said. It was really not easy to learn things these days. Seeing Guagua wriggling away, Su Yun had to ask her to leave. "Qin Wan-er, can we learn during the day in the future? It is easy to misunderstand in the middle of the night." Fortunately, Guagua is not sensible. If Sister Shuang asked, "Would you also say that I taught you how to use a pistol?" "Go away, go die." Qin Wan-er did not have any intention of respecting a teacher. She fiercely stared at Su Yun. It is all your fault. Who asked you to teach me this? I want to learn martial arts tomorrow. Sleep. Seeing Qin Wan leave in a huff, Su Yun was really innocent. Damn, who did I offend? I did not sleep in the middle of the night and worked hard to teach, but in the end, I gotta go die. Anyway, he did not expect Qin Waner to give him a gentle kiss of gratitude like Wan Qingshuang. She did not kick him in the groin. He was already very kind. Chapter 100. Su Xiaoran woke up early and came to the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She bought 6 sets of exquisite breakfast, which freed Su Yun and Ruan Qingshuang to fry eggs and warm milk. Chou Yun tacitly agreed that Su Yun should continue to escort Guagua to school. Su Yun naturally carried Guagua to the car. It was very easy for him to be a sparring coach. Su Xiaoran was not bad at all, and she had a good sense of direction. So, after Su Yun talked about the theory yesterday, her driving skills were much better than the day before. Teacher Su, you're really talented. You can understand it just by theory. Su Yun couldn't help but praise her. He didn't sleep well last night because of Qin Waner. After saying that, he yawned. Guagua sat in the back of the car by herself. Her black eyes were rolling. No one knew what she was thinking. Su Xiaoran was a careful person. Seeing Su Yun sleepy, she asked with concern, "Did you not sleep well last night?" "Yes." Su Yun sighed helplessly. It was all because of Qin Waner. Ah! What happened to her? Su Xiaoran remembered that Qin Waner was a night owl in high school. She often read books until late at night without feeling sleepy. Before Su Yun said anything, Guagua answered first. I know. Miss Su, Sister Waner went to my father to learn something last night." Originally, when Su Yun heard Guagua speak, he was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. Who knew if she would talk nonsense? Fortunately, Guagua was tactful. Su Yun was relieved. "It seems that Waner still loves to learn," Su Xiaoran smiled and asked curiously, "What do you want to learn?" Su Yun had an ominous premonition. His pores opened instantly, and he felt a chill all over his body. Sure enough, Guagua did not let Su Yun down. She said 3 words without hesitation, "Pistol." There was a dead silence in the car. Su Xiaoran's expression changed from curiosity to surprise, and then to amazement. Finally, her ears began to blush and spread to her cheeks little by little. This topic was too sensitive. Su Xiaoran could not accept it at all. Guagua said it so casually that she could not look directly at the picture in her mind. Su Yun suddenly had the urge to open the door and jump out of the car. If he was misunderstood by Miss Su, he might as well die in this heavy traffic. Guagua did not care about the reactions of the 2 adults. She continued, "Sigh, I don't know what Sister Waner learned in the police academy. She didn't even learn the simplest pistol. If she was given a submachine gun, she wouldn't know how to use it." "Little ancestor, you finally cleared Godfather's name." Su Yun suddenly felt that the clouds had cleared and the sun had come out. In an instant, fresh air rushed into his nose. Su Xiaoran came to a sudden realization. She instantly felt ashamed of herself for thinking the wrong way just now. It was too embarrassing. She actually misunderstood a child's words and was blushing shyly. How embarrassing. She did not want Su Yun to see her embarrassed state. "Guagua, the teacher wants you to read an essay today. Are you ready?" Su Xiaoran hurriedly changed the topic. Of course I'm ready," Guagua said confidently. Su Xiaoran was really curious about what kind of essay this little girl would write. "Can you tell the teacher first?" Guagua said mysteriously, No, you'll know in class." If Su Xiaoran knew that she had written an essay called "My Mother is a Big Boss," she would definitely give up on the idea of giving a speech on stage. Since Su Xiaoran had to substitute for the class today, Su Yun did not have the opportunity to continue teaching her driving theory. Su Xiaoran gave the car keys to Su Yun and smiled embarrassedly. "When I picked up the car, the 4S store said that they would send a mat, but they didn't have it at that time. They called me yesterday and asked me to go today, but I don't have time now. Can I trouble you? Sure, it's a small matter. Su Yun was bored anyway. He was not worried about Guagua at school at all. He was not as cautious as Cho Yun. Su Xiaoran took Guagua to the classroom. Su Yun directly drove away and went to the 4S store in the development zone. Just as he drove away, an Audi with a camouflage license plate followed behind him. 20 minutes later, Su Yun arrived at the development zone. When he arrived at the destination, Su Yun quickly asked for a mat from the customer service. Just as Su Yun came out, the Audi that had been following him all the way and monitoring him suddenly turned around and left. Su Yun could not help but frown. If the person in the car came to find trouble with him, he would not be afraid. However, he was afraid of this. What if the person was only sure that he left and wanted to harm Guagua? Su Yun had no choice but to call Cho Yun immediately and tell Cho Yun about the current situation. Cho Yun was naturally very angry. I said that I would not let you leave so casually. If anything happens to Guagua, I will never forgive you. Without waiting for Su Yun to explain, Cho Yun hung up the phone. Su Yun did not dare to be careless. He quickly got in the car and chased out. However, the Audi seemed to have been prepared. On the way back, Su Yun saw several similar cars, but they did not cover the license plates. At this time, Su Yun was sure that the car must have taken off the camouflage and mixed in with the road. It was impossible for him to find it. When Su Yun rushed back to school, Cho Yun was already there. Fortunately, nothing happened to Guagua at school. But what kind of person was following him? This point made Su Yun puzzled no matter how much he thought about it. Only following and not making a move did not seem like the actions of an ordinary person. Could it be someone from the government? Su Yun stared blankly. He thought of a few possibilities. Perhaps it really was someone from the police station. The police station's intelligence was in many ways. Although Su Yun confirmed that there were no Skynet surveillance cameras in the vicinity of the medicinal cuisine restaurant, he still believed that the police had the ability to suspect that Red Scorpion had appeared in the medicinal cuisine restaurant. You can go back. Cho Yun saw that nothing happened to Guagua, so her anger was not as great. Su Yun knew that her temper was definitely not because of his stubbornness. Now, even if he told her that he would not leave again, Cho Yun would not be at ease with him here. Forget it, it was the same no matter who was here. After all, Cho Yun no longer had the scorpion poison in her body. 2 days of recuperation was more or less enough for her to recover. Then I'll leave Guagua to you. Su Yun knew that it was useless to say more. He directly went to the office to return the car keys to Su Xiaoran. Then he returned to the medicinal cuisine restaurant. With the addition of Liang Shan to the medicinal cuisine restaurant, Ruan Qingxuang no longer needed to personally do manual labor. Fortunately, the southern city's 3 tigers were considerate and knew to introduce helpers to them. Ruan Qingxuang saw that Su Yun had returned and did not think too much. She was still used to Cho Yun sending Guagua off. Although she was very grateful that Miss Su came to pick up Guagua, she still felt a little sour in her heart. In short, it was strange. Su Yun looked at LV when he wiping the table and Liang Shan mopping the floor. He could not help but sigh with emotion. Having people in the restaurant is really different. He used to do these jobs part-time. There was no other way. He was reluctant to let Ruan Qingxuang suffer alone. Dan Jiahao didn't come. Ruan Qingxuang said, I called Dan Hongning and asked. He said that his brother couldn't find him early in the morning. Maybe he felt that doing odd jobs was shameful, so he ran away. Su Yun frowned. He suddenly felt that something was wrong. Didn't Dan Jiahao shamelessly want to work with him yesterday? How could he not find him early in the morning? Damn, that guy wouldn't be so stupid as to run to the pharmacy to buy wolfberry, right? Haha, thinking of this, Su Yun was relieved. If that guy could really stick to it, he would be a talent. People were not afraid of having no ability, but they were afraid of having no perseverance. If there was a will, there was a way. Don't worry about him. Maybe he will come back in a while. Su Yun grinned and said, Today, I will be a waiter. Haha, Shanzi, the kitchen will be completely handed over to you. Brother Yun, you can rest assured, Liangshan said confidently. The morning's leisure lasted until about 11 o'clock. Customers began to appear one after another. Su Yun and LV when he started to get busy. Ruan Qingxuang sat at the front desk and collected money easily. She really didn't expect that the medicinal cuisine restaurant would become like this one day. Su Yun's first day as a waiter was fruitful. Just after 12 o'clock in the afternoon, a girl came into the restaurant. She was 1.7 meters tall. Her tight clothes made her whole body look curvy. Her delicate face and high-tied ponytail made her look as pure as snow. With a childish face and curves, she was definitely a young man killer. Excuse me, is this the #1 medicinal cuisine restaurant in Wenhui district? Ponytail's smile was so sweet that even Ruan Qingxuang was amazed. Of course, Su Yun wouldn't let go of serving such a goddess. He quickly went up and said, yes, it should be called the #1 medicinal cuisine restaurant in Hadong City. Pretty lady, I'm afraid you're not a local, right? Everyone knows you. Ponytail was still smiling. It's my first time eating medicinal cuisine. Give me some recommendations. Don't be too expensive. Su Yun pointed to a window seat and gestured for her to sit. Pretty lady, come and have a 20% discount. As soon as he said that, a few regular customers of the medicinal cuisine restaurant started to joke. Lady boss, look at your boss. He gives a discount whenever he sees a pretty lady. Why don't we, the regular customers, get a discount? Then today is the discount day. Everyone gets a 20% discount. Ruan Qingxuang smiled and said generously. Fortunately, Guagua wasn't here. Otherwise, she would go crazy. 20% discount for everyone? Based on the current income of the medicinal cuisine restaurant, that would be a loss of thousands. Su Yun shouted to Liangshan, who was in the kitchen, Shanzi, give this beauty a dish of steamed eel with celery and black pepper, steamed yam with old duck, and a dragon bone winter melon jade pillar soup. The treatment of a beautiful woman was indeed different. Su Yun had no choice. He just wanted to give it to her. For some reason, he felt a sense of familiarity from this pony-tailed girl. He couldn't pinpoint what kind of familiarity it was, but he was sure that it wasn't because of his lower body that he was so interested in her. Thank you. Ponytail smiled. She thought that the service here was pretty good. She didn't expect that the female police chief Chen mentioned would live in a place like this. It should be pretty interesting. Ponytail looked through the glass at the square opposite the medicinal cuisine restaurant. She didn't expect Hadong City to be such a good place for hidden talents. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was Azure Dragon. Ponytail picked up the phone without hesitation. What's up? I'm in the Wenhui district. I'll be there after dinner. Chapter 101. Of course, Su Yun wouldn't allow anyone to say anything bad about what he did. Since he gave the beautiful Ponytail a bowl of soup, he also went to the kitchen to serve some dishes such as peanuts and vinegar to the other regulars. Boss Su, don't go too far. Be careful or the lady boss will make you kneel on the washboard. Uncle Lee was a regular customer of the medicinal cuisine restaurant, so he would occasionally make jokes about Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang. The two knew that he didn't mean any harm, so they didn't mind. Su Yun waved his hand and said, My lady boss is not so narrow-minded. Soon, Shanzi finished preparing the 2 signature dishes that Su Yun ordered for the beautiful Ponytail. Seeing that Su Yun was chatting with the other customers, LV Wenny went to the kitchen to serve the 2 signature dishes to Ponytail. Ponytail was quietly waiting for the delicious food to be served. Suddenly, her fingers trembled slightly, and the paper ball made from paper towels turned into a white light that was hard to be seen by the naked eye and flew out. LV Wenny was about to serve the dishes to the customers when she suddenly felt numbness in her knees. She instantly lost her balance and screamed as she was about to fall to the ground. In the blink of an eye, Su Yun dashed forward and caught LV Wenny, who was about to fall, with his left hand. With a swoosh, His right hand caught the steamed duck with steamed yam, which was about to fall, and placed it on the table. Then, with a lightning-fast move, he caught the steamed yam duck that was about to fall to the ground. Phew! Su Yun breathed a sigh of relief and put the steamed duck with steamed yam on Ponytail's table. At the same time, he let LV Wenny stand steadily. LV Wenny was so scared that she was sweating all over. She wasn't afraid of dropping the plate. After all, she knew about Yuan Qingxuang's gentle temperament. She was just afraid of dirtying the clothes of the customers. Okay, it's okay. You can go back to work. Su Yun comforted the frightened LV Wenny. Lu Wenny nodded and shyly left to bring the soup over as well. Sorry, did I scare you? Su Yun said to Ponytail apologetically. She's just a little girl who just graduated from university. She doesn't have much experience. Hee hee, I'm really sorry. Ponytail smiled faintly. It's all right. This meal is on the house as an apology, Su Yun said generously. Do you want to sit down and eat with us? Ponytail looked up at Su Yun with a smile. Su Yun was startled. He guessed that this Ponytail beauty thought that he talked too much. No need. You eat. I'll get to work first. Ponytail looked at Su Yun's back as he left, and the smile on her face changed from calm to suspicious. She picked up a piece of yam and put it in her mouth. The taste was indeed different. It was indeed very delicious. Ponytail pondered as she tasted the food. The waiter had lost his balance because of the paper ball that she had shot out. She didn't come to the medicinal cuisine restaurant just for the food. She also wanted to know what kind of expert was hidden by the female police superintendent that Bureau Chief Chen mentioned. Ponytail was suspicious of the most low-key and quiet waitress in the restaurant. That was why she made a move on her. But clearly, she wasn't. As for the glib-tongued Boss Su, he seemed to be a bit suspicious. If he was not an acrobat, then he must be a master of martial arts to be able to protect people in that kind of situation and not let the dishes fall. Then he must be a master. Su Yun talked and laughed as he walked into the kitchen. After entering the kitchen, he opened his palm. In his palm was a small paper ball made from paper towels. The paper ball was very hard. It wasn't something that could be squeezed into shape with normal strength. He had accidentally seen it when he received the steamed yam duck, so he casually picked it up. It seemed that LV Wenny's fall wasn't because she was careless, but because someone had secretly tampered with it. Using a paper ball the size of a pepper to hit a person's kneecap acupuncture point was definitely not something an ordinary person could do. Even a top expert might not be able to do it. Because this was the purple lightning cloud piercing hidden weapon technique. This kind of hidden weapon technique wasn't something an ordinary person could learn. Su Yun was so clear because he had only learned one type of hidden weapon technique, and that was the purple lightning cloud piercing hidden weapon technique. Just who was that Ponytail? Su Yun couldn't help but have clouds of doubt in his heart. Brother Yun, what are you thinking about? Liang Shan suddenly interrupted Su Yun's thoughts. The dishes for table 13 are ready. They've been rushing us a few times already. Su Yun came back to his senses and smiled faintly. I know. On the way to serving the dishes, Su Yun once again passed by Ponytail's table. He clearly saw the torn piece of paper towel on Ponytail's table. That's right, the person who used the purple lightning cloud piercing hidden weapon technique to eject the paper ball was definitely this extremely pure-looking Ponytail girl. For such a young girl to reach the level of a first-rate expert, she definitely wasn't an ordinary person. Su Yun silently brought the dishes to table 13. Even though he already knew Ponytail's identity, he didn't expose it. The fact that she chose to use the paper ball meant that she didn't want to hurt anyone. Su Yun didn't know what she wanted to do. At this moment, Ponytail suddenly put down her chopsticks and walked over to Yuan Qingxuang. Su Yun's eyes narrowed slightly. His breathing suddenly slowed down, and even stopped. As long as Ponytail acted strangely, he would definitely subdue her immediately. After all, he had already broken through to the level of an expert. Su Yun's strength was no longer the same as it was in the past. He had long since passed the 3 stages of novice, and was a true expert among experts. How much? Ponytail didn't act strangely. She very naturally took out her wallet to give him change. Ruan Qingxuang glanced at Su Yun and smiled. I accidentally scared you just now. Let's skip this meal. Ponytail also smiled at Ruan Qingxuang. Forget it. I don't have the habit of eating for free. Thank you. After saying this, Ponytail took out 100 yuan and placed it on the table. I think this should be enough. There's no need for that much. Ruan Qingxuang hurriedly said. Ponytail wasn't stingy with her praise. Keep the change. Thank you for letting me eat such delicious medicinal cuisine. Su Yun had already walked over. Sorry, we don't have the habit of asking for too much money. 50 yuan should be enough. I'll come back again tonight. I'll pay in advance. Is that okay? Ponytail said softly. The corner of Su Yun's mouth raised slightly, revealing a sinister smile. Sorry, we don't have this function. Also, we don't welcome guests who waste food. After saying this, Su Yun pointed at Ponytail's table. There were a lot of leftovers from the 2 dishes, and only half a bowl of soup was drunk. Ponytail didn't continue to argue with Su Yun. She directly turned and left. Su Yun, what's wrong with you? Ruan Qingxuang felt that something was wrong with Su Yun. In the beginning, he was very polite to Ponytail. Why did he suddenly speak with needles? Su Yun realized that Ruan Qingxuang was still there. He laughed dryly. Nothing. I just feel that this kind of young lady doesn't know how to cherish food. She ate a few mouthfuls and then stopped eating. It's too wasteful. She doesn't even know how to take it away. Maybe she doesn't like to eat medicinal cuisine. Ruan Qingxuang smiled helplessly. Although she didn't like guests who wasted food, it was difficult to eliminate this kind of people. Fortunately, the people who came here weren't particularly wasteful. The ones who really wasted food were those corrupt officials. The place where food was wasted the most was the banquet. Su Yun certainly wasn't angry about the wasted food. Compared to those corrupt officials who spent tens of thousands of yuan for a meal and a bottle of wine, this was nothing. At this time, Dan Jiahao suddenly pushed the door and came in. The moment he entered the medicinal cuisine restaurant, his whole body seemed to be paralyzed. Ruan Qingxuang was shocked. Why did this guy suddenly come? Huff, huff, water. Dan Jiahao's throat was smoking, and his voice was hoarse. LV when he hurriedly poured a glass of water and brought it to him. This guy didn't hesitate and directly gulped it down. After drinking 3 glasses of water in a row, the first thing he said was that he wanted to drink water. After drinking 3 glasses of water in a row, he finally felt comfortable. Are you learning from Kua Fu chasing the sun? Su Yun frowned and asked, Look at the time. Don't you have to work? Dan Jiahao looked wronged and raised the bag of wolfberry in his hand. Brother Yun, you told me to go to Deming Pharmacy in the Central District to buy wolfberry every day. You said that if I insisted, you would take me as your disciple. You believe everything I say? I said that I would only take you as my disciple if you shot down the moon. Would you do it? Su Yun was speechless. Shooting down the moon is something I can't do. Of course, I won't do it. But I can do it, Dan Jiahao said seriously. Su Yun pointed at the clock on the wall. See, the medicinal cuisine restaurant is ready to open at 10:30 a.m. every day, but you only come at 12:30 a.m. You are an odd job worker. Coming at this time is the same as not coming. I don't want you to come to work just to buy wolfberry. Dan Jiahao didn't get angry, nor was he in a hurry. Brother Yun, I understand. I will buy wolfberry tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. and come to work at the medicinal cuisine restaurant. Damn, Su Yun was speechless. This guy was really working hard. Okay, if you can do it, I won't stop you. Su Yun was too lazy to care about him. Come at 9:30 a.m. to wash the vegetables and prepare the ingredients. You also have to sweep the floor and wipe the table. Doing odd jobs, you have to have work in your eyes. Dan Jiahao stuffed the wolfberry into Su Yun's hands and went into the kitchen without saying anything. It was as if all his tiredness had been swept away. Ruan Qingxuang couldn't bear to see him like this. Su Yun, isn't this a bit too much? Su Yun smiled faintly. Kids at this age do things like this. After 3 days of enthusiasm, he will quit after a few days. Don't worry, he won't die. Suddenly, the phone rang. Su Yun hurriedly picked it up. It was Guagua calling to say that she wouldn't be coming back for dinner. Miss Su invited her and Cho Yun to eat at the buffet. Buying a buffet coupon for 3 people would get 1 free, so Guagua asked Su Yun if he wanted to come. Originally, Su Yun didn't plan to go, but Ruan Qingxuang asked him to go. In any case, the restaurant didn't lack manpower. But even so, Su Yun still didn't plan to face Cho Yun. After all, when he left in the morning, he caused a little panic. Cho Yun probably hadn't forgiven him yet. But suddenly, Su Yun heard a familiar voice coming from the phone. Xiaoran, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here. Hee, is this beauty your friend? Aren't you going to introduce her to me? Chapter 102. Dad, are you coming or not? Guagua gave him an ultimatum. Right away. Su Yun finally made the decision. He wasn't worried about Su Xiaoran, because no matter how filthy that Lu guy was, he wouldn't do anything overboard in public. He was worried that Cho Yun wouldn't be able to stand the constant harassment of that perverted man. If she made a move, she would definitely hurt someone. After all, Cho Yun was still angry. Su Yun went out and took a taxi to the address Guagua gave him. It was a barbecue buffet, probably chosen by Guagua. These days, Su Yun's dishes were mainly light. He was thinking for Cho Yun. After all, the scorpion poison had just been expelled, and too much greasy food wasn't good for her body. And the carnivorous Guagua couldn't take it anymore after not eating meat for 2 days. 10 minutes later, Guagua finally saw the long-awaited Su Yun. They were almost completely speechless at the guy who was leaning on their table. Most of the buffet restaurant had 4-seater seats, so after they sat down, there was naturally an empty seat next to Su Xiaoran. Lu Tianyi, who was thick-skinned and knew how to chase after girls, very consciously sat down. He even acted like it was a coincidence, but in fact, he had followed them all the way here. Lu Tianyi's perverted heart was indeed not small. On one hand, it was obvious that he wanted to pursue Su Xiaoran. On the other hand, he would occasionally sneak glances at Cho Yun's impressive figure and cold face. Guagua and Su Xiaoran emphasized more than 10 times that this seat was taken, but Lu Tianyi didn't believe it. He only said one sentence, "That person is here. I'll definitely leave immediately." Cho Yun had enough of this fly. She couldn't hold back anymore and wanted to make a move on this fly. Yo, it's so lively here. Su Yun saw them and immediately walked over with a smile. Guagua finally heaved a sigh of relief and said to the extremely thick-skinned Lu Tianyi, "All right, the people we're waiting for are here. You can leave too." Lu Tianyi didn't expect this bastard to come again. He clenched his fist so hard that it made a cracking sound. He couldn't hold it in any longer and was about to hit this bastard who stole his woman. Lu Tianyi, whose veins and tendons had been opened up, was filled with boundless confidence. Of course, he wouldn't feel any pressure now that he had leveled up to become a master. Today, he was going to let Su Xiaoran experience what it meant to be domineering. Lu Tianyi sneered and stood up. He wanted to show everyone the difference between him and Su Yun. He, who had always loved famous brands, had completely left Su Yun in the dust in terms of image. Lu Tianyi wore an Armani short-sleeved shirt with casual trousers and Gucci leather shoes. He even sprayed Dior men's cologne. Su Yun wore a black t-shirt with a skull drawn on it with colorful beach shorts and flip-flops. He was purely masculine. "You're not worthy of Miss Su at all," Lu Tianyi said with disdain. "I don't want to make a move on you. It's better if you back out yourself. If you continue to pester Miss Su, I'm afraid my fists and legs will hurt you." This guy really knew how to slander others. Su Yun was speechless. You're the one pestering Miss Su, right? I already warned you yesterday. Is there something wrong with your brain? Seeing that Su Yun had taken the bait, Lu Qianni snorted heavily. Then let's see who's the one with a brain problem. I also warned you that if I see you again, I won't go easy on you. Su Xiaoran looked nervously at the two who were at daggers drawn. Chou Yun drank her juice expressionlessly, as if those two had nothing to do with her. Go daddy. Guagua, this little thing who loved to see the world plunged into chaos, was naturally very excited. She stood up on the chair, holding a glass of milk in her left hand and a pizza in her right. Her face was full of excitement. She wasn't worried that her dad would lose at all. The smell of gunpowder in the buffet restaurant was extremely thick. Lu Qianni suddenly exploded, and with a thunderous strike, he kicked a table over with one leg. The surrounding customers all moved out of the way, and some even stopped eating and left the scene quickly. Su Xiaoran was so shocked that her eyes almost popped out. She didn't expect Lu Qianni to be so powerful. Of course, the restaurant owner wouldn't let things get out of hand. He hurriedly went up to stop them and threatened, "I'll call the police if you continue like this." Lu Qianni sneered and threw his wallet to the restaurant owner. "No need to call the police. I'll pay you back double for all your losses today. Open your dog eyes and look at the gold cards inside. Don't worry about me not being able to pay you back." It was the restaurant owner's first time seeing such a rich guy. Although he didn't believe it, he still opened the wallet unconsciously. There were only a few thousand RMB inside, but those gold cards from the major banks were definitely not fake. Some of the cards required a fixed deposit of over 10 million RMB to apply for. This time, the restaurant owner really believed this rich guy in front of him. "If you dare to call the police, I'll make sure you're in for it." Lu Qianni threatened coldly. Today, he was going to teach this arrogant bastard who tried to snatch his woman a lesson. The restaurant owner's face changed faster than flipping the pages of a book. He took his wallet and ran away. He immediately ordered all the waiters to ask all the customers to leave and return all the money spent today. Of course, he wouldn't miss out on such a good deal. Right now, the restaurant owner was hoping that this rich guy would tear down the restaurant completely. He'd earn half of the money for free, and even save on the cost of renovations. Lu Qianni's mind was already muddled. He only wanted to show off his manly dominance in front of Su Xiaoran. He didn't care if he would destroy the restaurant or not. He only wanted to teach this man a lesson. It didn't matter how much money he had to pay. Suddenly, Lu Qianni launched an attack. After Scarlet Scorpion opened up all the meridians in his body with his father's company in the morning, he felt an endless amount of energy pressing down on his dantian. Scarlet Scorpion told him to find a chance to vent it out. This would help his state of mind grow. Originally, Lu Qianni's father wanted him to find a few delinquents who caused trouble in his restaurant to vent, but Lu Qianni held it in. He held back this evil fire in order to wait for a chance like this. He just didn't expect this chance to come so quickly. It was so quick that even he was secretly delighted. Lu Qianni suddenly struck out like lightning. Su Yun dodged to the side lightly. Lu Qianni's fist shattered the restaurant's glass partition. With a crash, the glass shards scattered all over the floor. If it was before, Lu Qianni would have held his bleeding fist in pain. But now, not only was his fist unharmed, he didn't feel any pain at all. But anyone who stepped into the ranks of experts wouldn't feel pain so easily. Only when the power of the attack exceeded their own would they feel discomfort. Lu Qianni was no longer the trash he used to be. Chou Yun frowned slightly. She didn't expect this guy to be in the realm of a third-rate expert. She couldn't feel any aura of an expert from him. How strange. Su Yun turned around and looked at Lu Qianni with a cold smile. People who take shortcuts will never reach their goal. When Lu Qianni made his first move, Su Yun immediately concluded that he was just a fake expert. Su Yun knew very well how people like him who had the aura of a third-rate expert but didn't have the aura of a third-rate expert came into being. I don't have the time to talk about this with you today. I'm going to show Xiao Ran what a real man is. Lu Tianyi suddenly tore his clothes apart and threw away the expensive shirt, revealing a body of strong muscles. This was all done in the gym. Before this morning, his muscles were just for show. But now, it was different. Su Yun didn't know what kind of first-rate expert could open up all the meridians for this guy. He could only pity this guy, because this guy's life expectancy had already been reduced by 10 years. It was impossible to reach a state of mind that wasn't achieved through one's own breakthrough. Anyone above the level of a first-rate expert should know this. The state of mind was a proof of one's growth. If one didn't reach a certain level of strength, and the state of mind was forced to reach that level, it would often cause great harm to the person. This kind of method where a first-rate expert forcefully opened up all the meridians to reach the realm of a third-rate expert wasn't recognized at all. It was the same as the forbidden medicine Yin Yang pill that could instantly raise a person's level. But looking at Lu Tianyi's excited look, it seemed that he didn't know what kind of exchange price he had to pay to reach this state in such a short time. Because no one told him the side effects of all this. Lu Tianyi's evil fire exploded, and he couldn't stop at all. He was like a mad beast, turning the buffet restaurant upside down. From the seats to the ceiling, from the ceiling to the partitions, and from the partitions to the floor. There was almost no place that he didn't destroy. The restaurant owner was already dumbfounded. He couldn't believe that someone could break the floor tiles with their fists. His hand holding the wallet was already trembling. He was starting to wonder if he would live to swipe the credit card in the wallet. Yet, not a single one of Lu Tianyi's ferocious attacks hit Su Yun. Su Yun's feet didn't even leave the ground, and he used simple dodging to neutralize all of Lu Tianyi's attacks. After all, Su Yun, who was promoted to a high-level expert, was on a completely different level from a third-rate expert like Lu Tianyi. It could be said that the difference was like heaven and earth. After a series of crazy attacks, Lu Tianyi finally realized that something was wrong. The guy in front of him didn't even fight back, and he had already used up a lot of stamina. Just as Lu Tianyi was in a daze, Su Yun suddenly exploded. Su Yun suddenly grabbed Lu Tianyi's shoulders with both hands, and violently threw him towards the wall. Lu Tianyi crashed into the wall with a clang, the pain of broken bones coming from his back. He was shocked that his 180 kilograms weight was thrown away so easily. After all, Lu Tianyi had just become an expert, and his pride was much higher. He couldn't accept it at all. After he got up, he quickly threw a punch at Su Yun's left cheek. Su Yun used the momentum to press down with his left arm, blocking Lu Tianyi's fist directly. His right hand formed a fist, and 3 consecutive heavy punches landed on Lu Tianyi's chin like thunder. Lu Tianyi's head buzzed for a moment. Before he could fight back, Su Yun threw him over his shoulder and smashed a table into pieces. Following that, Su Yun lifted Lu Tianyi with both hands and threw him towards the ceiling. This guy said that he would pay for it, so what was there to be afraid of? Lu Tianyi's weight of over 180 kilograms smashed 2 LED light boxes on the ceiling before falling heavily to the ground. He had completely lost the domineering aura he had a minute ago. He was like an old dog that had lost its home, lying at the corner of the wall, gasping for air. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.